Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Dynamite Shirt Printing, Kyle Metz. What a guy. He came on as a sponsor, and my primary use for him is drop shipping. So what that means is that I don't got to buy inventory. I don't got to buy a bunch of t-shirts. Kyle handles it all. So it's ordered online, and then he prints it and ships it, and he handles everything. And it works out for both parties. If you're looking for something else like general screen printing, he handles that. He does embroidery. He does direct to garment, DTG, which means you can do one-offs, and there's no minimum on that. Kyle's been able to help a lot of businesses that I've been funneling to him just to get going and to, start up. I mean, you don't want to order 100 t-shirts when you're just coming out the gate. And Kyle can handle small orders, large orders. He can handle everything you need. That's Dynamite Shirt Printing, and it's dynamiteshirtprinting.com. Go check it out. My favorite skate shop in the Valley, 5anddimeeaston.com. You can shop online or in store. Their address is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, 11 to 5. They carry clothing, shoes, boards, accessories, and more. You can get complete decks down there. They got grip. They got some local clothing down there as well. I know a couple guys that came on the show that they're now selling stuff in store, and they're exclusive to Fucked. They are doing so much for the independent skate community. They're doing so much for the DIY. They're doing a lot in the area with skateboarding, and I couldn't be prouder to have them as a sponsor. Their story is incredible, from starting it when they were 18 and then coming back later in life to opening up what the store is that they wanted. And the two guys down there are just incredible. I can't say enough good things about them. I love that they're a sponsor, and they really help out in the community. And if you skate or want to support them, please go check them out locally. It is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA. Online, it is 5anddimeeaston.com. Please go check them out. All Valley Rooter, Jared LaBarba, friend of the show, childhood friend, Never Again Studios official plumber. 24-hour emergency services. 610-762-1656. That's 610-762-1656. They charge by the job, not by the hour, and they are 100% fully insured. They have free estimates. They also do installation and repair. They have a list of things. I can't go over them all on here, but you can find them at allvalleyrouter.net. All of Jared's services are on there. It's a beautiful website. You can contact him through that website. You can find out how to do, emergency services. Where should I call? Who should I contact? You can get all that there at allvalleyrouter.net. Free estimates, fully insured. Jared LaBarba. Check him out. Something totally different. So I don't know how I'm going to do it, really.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Are we on?
We are recording. Welcome to Never Again Radio. Blah, 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 blah. You've been on here a bunch and don't need the whole intro. What's up, dude? Last time we kind of did this, you were probably in the, what are those prison cells that they have in the down south where they put the prisoners out, the hot boxes?
Hot box. Oh, yeah. You mean
I always felt so terrible every summer because you would have to get up so goddamn early to beat the heat, and then you got out of there, and then now you're in your new place. Walk us through. I mean, we're going to get into like actual conversation, but in the beginning, I do want to kind of get to where your business is since the last time you were on. But you're now in a full facility, and I have questions because it looks like it was already outfitted for what you're doing.
Yeah.
How did you get into that spot?
I got into that spot through a referral. I work with a Porsche shop. They're mechanic specialty restoration type shop called Specialty Cars. They're located in Allentown. We're over by Iron Pig Stadium off Union Boulevard. One day they called me last summer in the middle of one of my hottest weeks that we had.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like you said, I had to work overnights in that old building a lot of times because with the heat wave weeks that we'd get, the air conditioning that I had just could not keep up. Just couldn't. Easily 90 to 100 degrees inside that building all day long. It's really difficult to do what I do in those temps. So I got a call, and they said, hey, this space across the way from us is opening up. you know, when could you be here to view it? I was like, I'll be there today, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Like, I've been waiting for a call.
So this was across their business, from their business?
Yeah, it's right across the street from them, which is super, super convenient because, you know, I work with them a lot, and they've grown to be great friends and you know, business acquaintances. You know, they're just great people to have in the network. They work on awesome cars. They do fantastic work. Nick, Mark, Erica, Bill, everybody over there at Specialty Cars, they just crush it. They've got a client list a mile long because they work on, you know, classic Porsches, sporty Porsches. There's a few models that they don't touch because they're not, you know, the SUVs and stuff. That's not really their focus. They work on 911s, all the cool stuff, sporty cars, the heritage cars,
Fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff. I love the fun stuff, man. I love working on those cars. So it just makes sense to be in the neighborhood with them. It's just a perfect fit. Everybody's great so far. I love being in the neighborhood.
Is it more like a complex compared to the last spot?
It's not so much of a complex, but we're just in a neighborhood that is filled with like-minded businesses. There's a lot of car-centric businesses over there, big garage, warehouse-style buildings. Mine, like you mentioned, was outfitted very well for detailing, actually, before. A local guy was in there, didn't work out for him. Sucks, you know, that's the breaks in business sometimes. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. I don't know the ins and outs of his story. Don't need to. It's not my problem. I wish him well, whatever's happening to him. But I'm definitely not one to sleep on an opportunity like that.
Yeah, what was that like for you to walk in there and it was like air conditioning and it seemed like everything that's in there is like controlled and the floors are correct?
Yeah,
and like,
floors are epoxied, everything that I would want. The walls are painted bright, glossy, big bright lights up above.
Yeah, I was going to ask if the lights were already set up in
the
there.
same lighting I actually installed at my old shop on the ceilings was already in place at this new spot. Air conditioning, washer and dryer on site, you know, all the stuff that I would, huge, brilliant office. Like, yeah, okay, cool. It's turnkey. You know what I mean? How could I say no to that? I met the landlord. He was really cool. We just vibed.
Were you month to month on your last place?
Yeah, because I'd been there for so long. You know,
how long were you at that spot?
3.5 years. Yeah. Yeah, 3.5 years. So that was a long time, but it was a good learning experience to, you know, see what rents are going to take out of your, you know, your monthly, you know, all the expenses that you're not planning on when you just work out of your house and your garage and overhead is cheap. That was, man, that was a great time, but you got to grow, right? So first garage was a nice step, an education into what it takes. And the second place I knew had to be way better because I had so many X's against the first place. You
know what you're doing now?
I do a little bit.
Like,
a little bit.
Like when I say that because with moving to the new studio, like when I was explaining to you like what I want to do, the only reason I know what I want to do is because this place has none of that.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what we were doing when we started doing this. Like, I knew we were podcasting, but I didn't know the vision of the show. I didn't know it was going to be what it is now. And, like, I didn't know where it was going to go. But, like, like, I could sit here and tell you everything that doesn't work in this room.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure of it.
You know what I mean? And, like, now going into the next place, because we were here for 5 years. So it's like going into the next place, it's like, all right, you know, when I was looking at the spot, it's like, all right, cool. Well, I have windows. That was the big thing.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So, like, you know, there's also going to be stuff that's, you know, this is better than that only because of the sound and we're in a basement and we can get away with a lot. But like in the new spot, like I needed it to be wide open and nothing in the way. And then, you know, like we're even like going to be putting in like studio lighting in like right away. Like I forget what it's called, but it's like the tracks up top. So like you can move these lights around and you're not just like drilling in a drywall. And
do
like,
they call that track lighting?
It's either track lighting or something else for that. It's no, I'm trying to think what it's called because it's similar to that. But it's like, you know, when you look at like TV shows and shit and they have like the grid of like lighting bars or whatever.
What you're talking about. I was just making it funny.
And then, you know, looking at that and then being, you know, I said to Jerry, I'm like, oh, well, we could put that over all three places that we want to have a studio. And then like how we were talking about where I want it more wide open and like more of a lounge, like it's easier to set up lighting for that. Like this, it's like you have to almost be like, don't move.
Right. That's why you have markings everywhere. This is you've got it all a template here for the way it's going to look good and sound good. But with your new location, you can take all the things that you learned down here and you say, all right, we didn't have that. We got to have that.
Yeah. So what was that like when you walked through that spot and you kind of saw like, dude, hell, I have this, or like even like having like a legit office?
Yeah. I mean, I had an office before, but it was a third of the size. You know, no windows.
Yeah,
like
that
you.
sucks.
You know what I mean? It was
sucks.
like
you don't care right away, but then after like a year or two, it's like
you're like, damn, I could stand to have some of that sunshine, you know.
Or you just open it for air.
Yeah, yeah. When I walked into the new place the first time, it was like the choir was singing.
Yeah,
you know, just opened the door and it was like, damn. So this is how the other half lives.
Yeah, because when you posted and like the pieces I kept seeing, I was like, man, like that's, I knew how you must have felt because of, I was there on a hot day and saw what you were going through. And then how many more cars can you fit in this one? Because it's way, like, it's
a decent size bigger, and the layout is better as far as where I can fit the cars, how I can arrange them. It's more deep of a space versus more of a cube. More of a
higher,
square. Yeah, I mean, the height isn't really helpful for me because I'm not stacking cars up in the air, but it's more of a long shoot, so I can really stack the cars in there. Like I haven't tried to stuff it full yet, but I imagine I could probably get maybe 9-10 cars in there.
How many could you get in the other place? 4?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was really stuffed in full. That was tight. Couldn't move things around, all that. Probably had to move a cabinet or a shelf. I had to move it out of the way to make space along a wall or something for a car. That's not the biggest part of the game, but on weeks like, for instance, we're having this weather. I've got 2 cars hanging out there that are done. They don't need to go home because I have room to store them now.
Yeah.
The customer doesn't want to pick them up because the weather's been so
yeah,
off
that's
and on.
huge to be able to let them hang there.
Yeah, absolutely. The rain, you know, nobody wants to pay good money and have their car detailed or have their, you know, anything aesthetic. You don't want to pay to have something made to look nice and then the weather rains on it and everything. It's just no fun.
Yeah.
So I completely empathize with my customers there. Like, if I can hang on to it and it's not inconveniencing you, cool. That way my work gets preserved. Your happiness gets preserved because you just paid me money, and then just drive it out in the rain is silly. Plus, with things like ceramic coatings, as we've gone over in depth, that I offer, that's my main offering in my services, it's crucial for the first week that you don't get the car rained on or wash it with soap or anything like that. There's a nice curing period in there. We do our best to do in-house curing before it comes back to you, but you know, most people need their cars back. You know, a lot of people don't have multiples, so if we get it done in a few days, they need that car back when we're done with it. All right, cool. Now we have safeguards against it. We put products on top of the coating install before it leaves so that it has a little bit of more of a safety pouch over it. You know what I mean? Just something to buffer it from the weather, because there's a good chance that it can happen. And luckily, Modesta, the manufacturer of my top tier coating, they understand that.
How's that been going since you started working with them?
Oh, it's great. It's still the best product I've ever used. It's not infallible. I have had, you know, people mess up panels here and there, but the good news is it's repairable. You know, and other than that, the product performs. People love it. I'm happy with it. Being part of the network, it's actually 2 years today that I joined that network. I finished my training 2 years ago to the day, and it's just been a nice, healthy network to be a part of. My trainer John, he's the representative and, you know, the owner of the company here in America, and he goes above and beyond for people, man. He really does. You can call this guy almost any time. Of course, I respect his privacy and his time frames. I try and treat it with, you know, business hours. But you really could call this guy in the middle of the night if you were working overnight and you had something going on, you had an issue with a product or a question or whatever, a technical assistance. He'll answer.
Yeah.
How many people can you get like that? So, you know, shout out John. John's the man. John Perdue. He's the best. Really appreciate working with them. It's been 2 good years. I'm looking forward to many more. They actually just had a convention in Tokyo. It wasn't right for me to go.
Yeah, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, a bunch of the installers went internationally. They all convened in Tokyo because they finally lifted all their regulations and stuff that they had, because you know Japan was pretty strict about stuff with the whole sickness and everything. But they lifted that, and I guess they finally got a chance to reschedule this thing they call PlusCon. So installers from all over the world came together to Tokyo, and they got to see even like in the lab and synthesize coatings on their own in the lab with the creator of the company. Super cool, but it wasn't right for me and my business at the time where it fell in the year. No big deal.
How many days is it?
Oh, I would have had to dedicate at least a week and change to do that, plus a bunch of money and all that stuff. And, it wasn't right for me, but that's just because I decided it wasn't going to be making me money at the time. It was going to be costing me money, and there's nothing.
Yeah, when you start breaking all that down, and you're like,
I would have loved to go, man, but it just wasn't right. And
I'd be like, okay, this is going to cost me this much, but then I can't work this week, so technically it's costing me that on top of it.
Yeah, and I think like that because I'm still a one-man show, and I still don't crush it with numbers every year until I get a crew underneath me. I think that's the only way to really make sizable loot. You got to scale things up a bit. I'm comfortable. I perform my craft, and I'm happy with the time I invest and what I get to take home out of it. It's not always even about the paycheck. It's about making people happy. I love the smile that I get on people when I make their car like they've never seen it before or whatever. It's cool.
Does it feel good to have the new spot when people are picking up or dropping off? That's got to be a world of difference.
Dude, everybody that's walked in, that's been to the old place, repeat customers, which is most of my customers stick around. So they, a lot of them have been back in the past, I don't know. How many months am I in there? 6, 7 months, something like that. They're all blown away. Like, wow, this is what you deserve. This is where you should be. This is a place where we don't mind coming at all. And I love that. It's great to have that kind of reception from people. I know the last place was a little bit rough. It just was. But to have people just give you that reassurance, like, man, this is what you've been working for. Like, you're here. You're here now.
That's what I thought when I saw it. It was like, hey, you got your shop now.
Yeah, I came up. You know what I mean? And now I feel a little bit more proper. When people walk in, the floor's clean, the floor's shiny, the light's great, everything's,
It's got to feel different going into work, too, and not being like, when you were telling me that, like, on those hot days that you were, having to do those overnights, and then, that gets old after a while, and then now you're working night shift and trying to, be normal and, get through regular life on top of that. But then, there were some times where, I could see it was weighing on you, like the shop conditions, and you had no control over it because it was your only spot.
Right. That's what I had to do. And anybody who knows me knows I just grind through it. It's what I do. If you follow me, you know that I'm at work probably before you are, and I'm probably at work after you are too. And I'll still find time to get mowing the lawn in and all that crap. But it's tough. It takes it out of you. I'm not crying. I'm not asking for no sympathy, man. I have a good time. I like working. It's what I like to do. You're the same way. You like to work. You wake up in the morning.
It's your job, so it's your freedom.
That's right. And a lot of people express their envy towards guys like me or you, where, you get to kind of run the show and create your own schedule a little bit. Yeah, you're still bound by time. That clock holds you there. You need to put the time and the work in.
Yeah, the clock's always there. I learned fast that, like, there was a point where I was just setting my alarm, and then I stopped setting my alarm because I just was like, oh, what do you, like, you're now in a schedule of, like, what it would be like if you had a job. So then, like, if I would sleep in because I was working late, and then I always had to work the same amount of time every day while I was down here. So it's like, if I would get up, go for a hike, and then get into my day, I'm working past dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so it was never like I got out of work. It was just, all right, well, and then it was weird because you start looking at, like, where you perform better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, you're way more creative at nighttime. So, like, even like now with being over at Giacomo's and doing these at night, they're way different podcasts than they are when I have to do, like, the morning coffee ones. Like, it's totally different.
Yeah. As a listener of yours, I can tell you that the vibe definitely changes from early mic to late mic. It's not a bad thing.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people.
I know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to have that dynamic because the different guests that you have on, sometimes it's appropriate that you're more morning restrained Mike versus wacky, creative, late at night Mike, where we get to sip some whiskey. You know what I mean?
Because it's a lot of times you don't get into the fun stuff when you're doing it during the day.
Right. It's more of
like
a business
or like people are coming in for advertising or like, I don't know. It's what I want to get away from.
I feel that. I do.
Because I look back on it sometimes and like look back on like how the show started and like when I had the most fun, and it wasn't when I was learning how to interview people. That wasn't when I had the most fun. It was just, that was when it was like, hey, it's just you now and you have to figure this out. And it was like during the pandemic and like, you know, we had just stopped doing Now We Go, and like I just had to start ripping podcasts, and like I'm very fortunate for that time because I learned how to interview and I learned how to be myself without ever thinking when that camera's on. So like now I want to take that and I want to go back to what it was in the beginning.
That was a bit of a gauntlet for you. You were doing show after show.
I was terrible. I think you were the only one that noticed it, where you were like, yo, he put out 4 podcasts this week.
I noticed all that
so
stuff,
much work.
man. It's a lot of work for you because it's not just like sitting here. A lot of people might think that, all right, he captures this audio, the video records, and you just slap them together and you...
No, I remember looking back and like having to learn editing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, I can't. Tell you
learned
how to do that.
I learned how to edit making John his promos down at the American. That's how I learned how to edit.
And those were great promos.
I have all those saved. I saved them all because they were so ridiculous. Where I was like, this is a timestamp, and you should like a lot of the podcasts I delete because anyone can rip them off of YouTube. So I'm like, all right, well my catalog is there, and I don't have enough of these hard drives to save everything I've done. And I think there's probably a couple shows I've lost, but like there's some early on promos and stuff where I look at like what people are doing now, and I'm like, dude, I was doing that 7 years ago and getting flagged for copyright infringement.
Dude, you were super ahead of the curve there.
When you didn't know, there was a time when I would my videos would come down because you weren't like, now you can use any music. Like, you know, like you started doing it, like I think it progresses somebody wanting to watch your story. It adds a fun element in editing, but like you used to not be able to use music. I would have to steal the music, put it on allegedly, and then I would have to put it in the actual video itself, and then it would get flagged, and then I would just be like, nah, I have the rights to this.
And they keep it up, but it's muted. There's no audio. I used to hate that.
I just got flagged the other day. It was like for a video, and they're like, because of audio rights, you this can't air in Japan or something.
Okay.
I was just like,
let me still hear it here in the U.S. of A., man, because like, this is what the people want. We're gonna give it to them. I never really understood that, man. But now Instagram and everything kind of listened. And they roll that music feature right into the stories and all that stuff. They've got almost any song under the sun.
It's wild
that you can pick.
Because I'll get into some weird stuff off of Spotify, and it's still on there.
Still on there.
What the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then now you've got this like, you've got this plagiarist culture where everybody's just like, I'm going to remix that. I'm going to use that audio. I'm going to use this person's voice. I'm going to use this person's music. And
when's the last time you DJ'd?
When's the last time I DJ'd?
Yeah. You posted about it, and I was like, I forgot Rip used to DJ, and we'd walk down with Jesse to the American, and we would hang out in that corner.
Yeah, and we would have some good times because I actually used to spin some pretty good tunes in that joint.
Yeah.
The last time I did it, I really can't tell you, dude. I mean, I can tell you last time I did it for a wedding,
right?
I did it for a wedding. I think we might have touched on this last time. So it's been another year still since I did an actual gig. I've done it with myself.
Yeah, like do you dick around at the house?
Yeah, I actually had my gear set up at the shop for a little bit, and it was like, all right, cool, because I had like 2 days that just like I had a customer reschedule, and it was the middle of winter, and I was like, for once, I don't have anything to like shuffle up, so I was just like, well, I've got this gear here. I've got Xbox. I've got whatever. I was like, I'll come to work. I'll do my workout. I'll screw around. You know what I mean? Because I got my gear.
So you got space there to like be doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, man. I got my driving simulator there, so I can play Forza with the chair and the wheel and the pedals and all that stuff. That revolutionized driving games for me. Because all I play on Xbox and all that is driving games.
Yeah.
Like Mud Runner. It's one of my favorite games. You're driving like 4-wheel drive hauling trucks through mud.
Yeah. They always have those like simulators.
Oh, it's so much
Game
fun.
Pass.
Yeah, it's actually kind of difficult.
Yeah.
You know? You can
if you have those simulators, I see sometimes like just the videos that come up in the different feeds, and it's like even like the truck driver ones where you're like taking tree logs and you gotta like go around the turns.
I have such a great time with that. It's a challenge.
It's not
it makes
easy.
my brain work. It's not. It's a total gear change, no pun intended, from racing games.
Yeah,
you know, where it's fast,
Forza.
fast. This is slow. Take her easy. Learn how to reverse with a trailer and logs on it in the mud. All kinds of stuff. I just enjoy that challenge, but I don't get much time to play video games and stuff like that anymore. But
I try. I can't, man. Yeah. I'm such a gamer, and like I talk to the guys at work, and like I try and play like an hour a night with Nate and Keith, and we just play Duty because Duty's like you can get in and out of that. But then like I picked up Zelda and the Switch like a year and a half ago, and I like tried to play it how you would play a video game, and I can't. I don't have the time. It swallows me.
I really can't play the shooters anymore. For some reason, that messes with my head and my eyes.
You can get, well, I used to, when I was younger, I used to get epileptic seizures from playing. It wouldn't happen all the time.
You were one of the people they warned about.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the game, they'd have the disclaimer.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what was going on, but when I would play, when the first person shooters would come out, I would like rent them, and then I would play them, and then I would tell my mom, I'm like sick, like I'm nauseous, and then she's like, I think it's like a touch of like epilepsy from like the lights and stuff.
Yeah, your mom was a nurse, right?
Yeah,
so she could pick up on that.
It hasn't happened in forever, but when I was younger, I used to get I would get super nauseous from playing
dude, that makes total sense,
shooter
man.
games.
Plus you have glasses. Have you always had glasses?
No. Well, you know what? How I ended up with glasses is because we were the generation with the computers.
That's what made me have them. I had perfect vision when I was a kid, and then I sat in front of a computer for
like
years.
when AOL first came out, and like you could get on the internet, and it was chat messenger and all that. I had all the lights out and
sitting in the dark,
sitting in the dark on the screen. That's
always.
why I had 20/20 vision until that.
Me too. I had great vision, perfect. I still have really good vision, but I do need a little assistance now for like nighttime driving, or if I'm in the dark watching TV. Man, I need those glasses.
I'm used to it at this point, but like I think eventually I'll see if I can get LASIK just to be done with glasses.
I've thought about it. I'm just so terrified of the possible down.
It happened to my friends where the laser moved off its course.
See, that's terrifying to me.
Yeah,
absolutely terrifying.
And then he had to like stay at home for a couple of days, and they had to redo the surgery.
Yeah. And then I hear that maybe down the line it can degrade for some people, and you can't even bring it back from there because
that's the stuff where I don't even know if that's true. But
I don't know.
But I'm like, I'm good.
But I don't want to be totally blind in 20 years, man. I'll stick with what I got. But yeah, the video games, man, they mess with my head now. The shooters, at least, it's just too fast paced. Everything from like Fortnite to Duty to Medal of Honor, all that stuff. It was just so much. Trying to focus, I can't.
I'll get back into like when they started redoing all the Resident Evils, like I'll put time in and like just play that.
Those games were like scary.
Yeah, I've liked all those. But even then, it's like I try and put time into it, and sometimes when I can't focus on the game because I'm like, hey, you should be working, and like that's what'll fuck me up.
That happens to me.
Where I'll be like, oh, where like now I'll play like from 9 to 11, if that. Like the last couple nights I haven't, but like I like it, like how you said playing like the simulator, like. It shuts everything off. I'm not cooking. I'm not editing. I'm not doing anything. Like I'm just fucking around. You know, I like comms too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'll talk with Keith and Nate on that, and it's fun. But then some nights it's super. You get fucking pissed off, and then like the whole thing's over, and my fucking adrenaline's up, and I'm all fucking.
You're peaked, and you're definitely not going to bed anytime soon.
And then I did notice that where like last night I didn't play, so like. I was just dicking around. I'm down a rabbit hole of Hotel of Horror with Gordon Ramsay. Ooh. So, like, I've been finding these Gordon Ramsay. I just like him yelling at these people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's justice in somebody stupid being told they're stupid.
I love it.
Because we've all worked for those people.
He's one of my favorite people just because he serves it to you raw.
Yeah.
He's like,
John Taffer does the same thing.
This is shit.
But I've always loved those because I've always worked for people that are fucking morons.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, especially early on cooking and stuff like that. Like, so I always like seeing people like that. But then when I was tired, I passed out. If I get into games and shit, like, I'll go back up or I'll have a coffee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'll always be involved in video games, but I don't know.
I'm a big believer.
I won't let it go.
I love the games. I do. I don't want to ever let it go either because I really truly enjoy gaming sometimes. I'm not like these YouTube kids where they want to make a career out of it. They just love gaming so much. It's an avenue of income for them.
Yeah.
No, that'll ruin it for me. if I had to play it for money. You know what I mean? But sometimes I just want to shoot things on Grand Theft Auto and drive fast and do all the things.
When the new Grand Theft Auto comes out,
Dude.
I'll play that. I'll play and beat that.
What's it been? How many years? It's been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been over 10.
It's been 10 years.
I looked into a bunch of stuff. There was like all kinds of like the guy who wrote the actual game that like makes Grand Theft Auto, like the weirdness about it, like he left.
Oh.
So then I think they were trying to not put something out and have a black eye. And then, you know what I mean? Because they haven't really ever fucked up that franchise.
That's true. It's been a hit.
The only thing they've done is they re-released the early stuff, and they just kind of half-assed it, which was the first time they've ever done that.
I think that's because their people saw through it. Nobody wants to pay.
Well, somebody
money
also said that like they went over to Rockstar and it was like a frat house.
Yeah.
Like, so like how you think Rockstar was, like that's how it was. Yeah. And then like, so they said that like now that the game's coming together, it's because like corporate kind of came in and was like, yo, dude, what are you doing here?
Oh, they pulled a grandma's boy.
Yeah. It was exactly
they had
like
Samantha
that.
come in and whip shit into shape, you know? Like,
that's such a good movie.
Hey, JP, quit fucking around and let's get these levels done. You
Nick
know?
Swartzen was on a podcast. It might have been with Theo Vaughn.
Oh, he's the best.
And he said that was the most non-returned and stolen movie that Blockbuster ever had.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I think that movie came out around the time that they did away with late fees too.
Probably.
I forgot. That was like a 2004, 2005 movie.
Late fees.
Yeah, and that's around the time when Blockbuster was already
driving at 8 p.m. the drop in the night box.
Remember that shit? I still had a bunch of Blockbuster sleeves with DVDs. And
I loved Blockbuster.
I've got like Paycheck with Ben Affleck in it. I got that from Blockbuster. Oh man, just. Once they said, you can't tell people that there's no more late fees. They're not going to bring your shit back.
I was sad when that left because what we got in return, because it wasn't Netflix right away.
No, it was Redbox.
And Redbox was always
Netflix.
dog shit.
It was Netflix, but it was mail order Netflix.
Yeah, mail order. They weren't streaming.
And nobody wanted to do that.
Which you can still do.
Yeah, you can, but why?
I don't.
Really,
I don't.
Why?
I think Kyle Cummings does.
That seems like it seems like such a. Everybody's all about.
They're like, there's movies on there that aren't on there, and I'm like, I don't got time to look through a movie catalog.
What am I, some buff? No, I want to go on there and I want to watch Beef. Have you watched Beef?
Dude, so good.
Dude,
I tell everybody it's probably the best thing on there right now.
Honestly, right now it's one of the best series. I just got into it a little bit ago. I'm not done with it, so I'm just like, this is amazing. I like Cho.
Yeah, he was just on Rogan. He's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
he's
I dig it, man. I dig it. It's refreshing the way it's filmed and everything. It's just it's kind of real too. You could see people totally acting out that way.
Yeah, and then there was like everybody has road rage.
Oh my god, yeah.
To take that scenario and like lay it out that way, where like nobody lets it go, and it just like keeps going.
But then you've got it like this is stalkerish. This is spoiler alert. He pees in her bathroom. It's so funny. Come on,
that's like episode 2.
Oh my god, I was like, this is the most petty shit. I love this. I love this entertainment, man. It's great.
I started getting into A24. Jared started coming down, and we would look. Friday nights we'd like smoke a joint and we'd put on we would just watch it every now and again when we had time. He's like, let's get into a movie. So we'll watch 2 or 3 movies, and we just started finding weird shit like The Lighthouse and like all these just like weird movies that are really weird to watch, super high. So like that's when I got introduced to A24, and then like they started blowing up, and then now it's, in my opinion, like that's really the only avenue of like what movies used to be. Like, you know what I mean? Because it changed so much where they're like all the Marvel shit, or they got somebody with a social media presence pushing it. Because I feel like there's an era that'll look back on where like we lost actors. Like after Brad Pitt and those guys, like there really wasn't actors there for a while.
I don't know any that have really come up and filled that superstar void.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like we don't like Ryan Reynolds stepped up, and like there was a couple that like would stand through, but like it wasn't like when we were growing up. And you know, there was like Jack Nicholson, and like I remember when there was like movie stars.
There's a murderer's row of movie stars.
Then it turned into like your influencers, you know, juice, and then you have that kind of stuff. Then it was all the Marvel shit.
Half these influencers can't act for shit.
No,
they can't. They're just they're engaging.
But their audience is like kids. So
that's what I mean. They're engaging to the young people.
Yeah.
But like if you tried to put Logan Paul or somebody in a movie, for me, I just don't think that he'd be able to hold the stuff. He might have all the draw in the world, but it ain't gonna work out.
It's weird the way stuff but then I feel like, but everything comes back full circle. So I feel like if you start like going down the catalog of A24 stuff, like there's westerns in there. Like they just did a lot of really cool shit. And then like that's the only reason I got into beef, because I was like, like if I see something A24, it's like, you know, it's a 90% chance that it's good because it's different and they're not doing everything the way everyone else
right,
is.
and they have a really great visual style. I noticed that a lot of the Netflix movies are filmed the same way, like even with like down to like the camera aspect, you know, the way the framing of the shots. It seems like it's filmed differently than the way the big movies used to be. Like the cameras are different that they're using now, you know.
Ozark was awesome.
Ozark was tremendous. I hated the way they ended it. That's okay.
Florida Man. Did you watch that?
I did not see Florida Man.
Yeah, no. that's from Jason Bateman's production company.
Okay,
it's the only reason I got into that, because he was like, "Hey, if you like Ozark," but that was more filmed like a TV show.
I do like him, so I'll probably have to look into that.
It's cool, but it's different. It was refreshing because they shot it like a TV show. Like you know how Ozark was just a long movie.
Yeah.
So like this is more like shot like within the first 2 episodes. I'm like, oh, this is shot like CSI or like a TV show. Like, but I liked that because in the beginning I was like, I don't know, and then I was like, no, I want something different.
You mean it's shot more like
it's like quick
conflict resolution?
Yeah, it's. I mean, the whole thing's drug out to like a series, and there's an end to it, but like it's not shot like Ozark at all. It looks a little bit cheaper, but it's supposed to, because it's more like what would be on at like 10 o'clock at night. Okay. You know what I mean? Like on a USA.
Yeah.
You know, a silk stock. It was very much like
era?
Silk Stockings.
Yeah.
That's how it's shot.
Oh,
that's how it's
Silk
shot.
Stockings.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
Remember that used to come on after WWF.
Yep.
On Sunday
nights. And then I would
nights.
watch the first 2 minutes because it was always sultry.
Yes, the intro was so hot.
Yeah.
You know?
So like it's shot more like that. Like that style
okay.
but it's done on purpose, because I was like, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see stuff come around, but I mean, I take breaks too. Like sometimes I'll just get into Netflix instead of fucking around with video games, just because I like to Sundays I'll do that. I'll just fucking
need time for this, man. Even the video games and all that stuff. It's commanding of your. People don't realize how many calories your brain burns when you're thinking about stuff. Like, and then the brain power that it takes for these kids to be playing these crazy shooter games where you're just like, your eyes are darting all over the place, and you're doing it. They may look like the vegetable while they're doing it because they're barely moving anything but their finger muscles and their eyes. But there's a lot of brain power happening behind that, and that really eats up your calorie base. Seriously, it takes a lot of energy. So I find that can be almost exhausting if you're in a really involved video game or a shooter or a driver, especially me sitting in a chair actually steering and shifting and doing all this
crazy
shit. It's just so much more fun. But how about the Korean stuff on Netflix? Have you gotten any of that?
See,
so much.
I noticed all that's coming down. Like now they have like what's the other one too? I see like they have like a section for like Indian culture stuff. Like it's crazy how stuff's changing now, where like it's not all the same thing. But I like all the different Korean stuff. I noticed that first when HBO started doing that, and they had like a whole series with Lisa Ling, the old reporter from Channel 1.
Channel 1.
Yeah, so she's like a legit.
Lisa Ling?
Yeah, she's like a legit. Her and Anderson Cooper, I think, became like legit journalists. So she did a whole thing on like Korean culture.
I heard Anderson Cooper was in the CIA.
God, hey man, yo, you see that? I'll switch this all up. You see that dude Praz from Fuji's? Dude, what a crazy story!
Dude. And now he's talking.
What
talking
happened?
To people, like,
from what I read, is that he was giving information and trying to sway business deals with presidents and people from China.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I read it, and now they didn't really get into it too much, but they basically were saying he was being paid like $100 million by somebody in China to start influencing deals with Barack Obama and with Donald Trump when they were all in the presidency. And he's looking at facing 20 years. And from what I'm reading, it was more like they were kind of painting it to be like a spy, but like I think it was because of what it was like. What do they call that? Like white collar, because it was more business stuff.
Yeah.
But he's still looking at, dude, that's nuts.
None of those FBI people and none of the people who cooperate with the FBI ever get off.
So wait, so he do you know the full story?
I don't know the full story because it's only been coming out, and I haven't.
What do you know?
what I really know that one thing I know is I haven't heard shit from Praz in 20 years.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from the Fugees in a long time. Wyclef is still out there doing his thing. Lauryn Hill is like off the radar. She does her own kind of independent stuff, I guess. She's more of the spoken word thing now, I guess. I don't know. Don't quote me on that crap because I'm just really ill-informed and I'm talking out of my ass. No, but the Praz thing, I'm like, damn, I haven't even heard that dude's name in well over a decade.
No.
I mean, unless it's, you know, when Wyclef mentions it at the end of a track when I'm listening to it, you know, Praz. Well, I didn't know if he was doing all this stuff and having major influence somehow.
It's going to trial from what I'm reading right now.
But if he was doing that stuff, how come we never heard about any of it? I never saw him on any ads. I never saw him on any videos. I never saw him featured anywhere. He wasn't even on any tracks or anything. So what kind of influence was he really offering? Was dude like...
It says he's facing charges including conspiracy, witness tampering, and failing to register as an agent of China in a case that could send him to prison for decades.
Wait, so who was paying him? China.
China.
China was paying him.
China.
China. They were paying him $100 million.
He tried to refashion himself as a businessman and a political force in the U.S. and in Haiti, the homeland of his parents.
Right, right. Wow.
A billionaire named Holo, who allegedly... So there's some guy, it seems like he wealth fund of billions of dollars to fill his own pockets. So there was a guy who was doing stuff in Malaysia. So the guy he was working with is a fugitive.
Okay.
From China. So that, because that guy's in China, like all of this is falling on the dude in the U.S. because they can't do anything with the guy in China. So the entire thing, that everything that's happened,
just getting loaded on him.
Just getting loaded on him.
Dude.
And you know that other guy knew the entire time.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Wow. That must suck. To like...
Yeah, it says prosecutors put Michael in the middle of two different sets of alleged crimes. First, an illegal plan to enlist people to attend fundraising dinner for Barack Obama during the 2012 presidential campaign, reimburse them $40,000 apiece using foreign sources of money and the cost of the tickets, and then threatening some of them if they came clean to authorities. The second plan was allegedly involved a secret lobbying campaign to help the billionaire Low lean on American justice officials and White House officials when his fraud scheme unraveled.
They can get him on a lot of
stuff. And to help
there.
the Chinese government secure the return of the dissident who was living inside the U.S. and developing close ties to the former Trump advisor and Steve Bannon. The FBI arrested the guy he was working with earlier this month. So I guess this guy got arrested for doing all this stuff, and then he was trying to use Praz to like clean it up, from what I'm getting at. But how the fuck do you go from the Fugees over to fucking this shit?
I don't understand how you can switch arenas so hard.
I saw it first on... I passed out to the Miss Pratt interview on Rogan, and then on YouTube it has like the clips.
Miss Pat's funny.
And it was like Miss Pat talks about the Fugees, and I was like, oh, maybe the Fugees are going back on tour, and I thought nothing of it. Then I saw another podcast was doing something on the Fugees, and then I Googled it, and it's like this dude's could be going away for 20 years for like all kinds of conspiracy bullshit with China and trying to like influence things in America and like...
And all unbeknownst to us the entire time. I haven't seen this dude in so long.
No.
He's whatever influence.
Who else is doing this?
That's what I'm saying. If he's out there and they say he did all this dastardly stuff, all this espionage and traitor shit, who else?
Yeah.
Who else has been influenced by the Bucks?
So that dude probably, like, if you would break it down, he was probably bored, had a bunch of money from the Fugees, and he's like, I'm going to get into business.
Or he had no money from the fucking Fugees.
Yeah. Either way, he's like, I'm getting into business, and then just gets tied up with somebody who's, like, in some fucked up shit, and then just like, fuck it, I'm riding it out. And then that's where you end up, and they're going to have nothing happen to them probably.
And they'll put him in a cell underneath the jail. Like, they'll just forget about the people that, like, are traitors. I can't imagine how they get treated. I just can't imagine it. Like, you know, the system probably does not care for people like that. You're not getting no nice cell. You know, like, yeah, it might be a white collar crime, but I don't think they're going to treat you like any kind of white collar dude.
No, when you're like fucking around with like FBI
with
shit,
China
you're being
and
an
FBI,
informant,
yeah,
especially all that shit going on.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. I heard about that. I did not devote any time to really learning about it.
I was talking to Sal about it today.
You just enlightened me a little
Sal
bit
was like,
it.
what?
Yeah.
I like Googled it a little bit, and I didn't, you know, I'm not going to have time to look through even as long as I did, but I was just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
That's wild.
And that's just one guy?
One guy. Because I said
guy.
to Sal, I'm like, how many other people do you think do that?
So many of them. How many of those?
And then you get into like all the fucking bullshit with TikTok and
dude, that's another thing. How many people you think that they've sent here to get education here from China, and they learn in our engineering schools, and then, like, you know, get jobs in big companies that have sensitive projects, and then go fly home to see their parents. And
there was somebody a couple months ago that got arrested for that.
Yeah,
that was like it was an actual spy.
Yeah,
and then they just like it goes up on a headline, and then like it gets buried by like the Kardashians are fighting again.
So much of that
like
we
that's
have no idea.
what's crazy is that like that's news. Like that's crazy, and then it's not actual news because it's not pop culture people.
Right. It has
like, how crazy is that? Like to me, I've been watching a lot of Rogan stuff with I'm off and on with him. Just I love all the comic stuff.
We've always been off and on with him.
So like but he has so many different guests on, and he does such a good job of hitting. You know, there's a reason he's that big, and it's because he's hitting everyone's feels. So like, if he wants to do something on coyotes, and then he wants to turn around and do something on aliens, but I've been watching a lot of the alien stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And it's wild that like they're basically saying all of this is real and it wasn't supposed to come out, and no one's talking about it.
No, I think
at all.
I think
no one's talking about it at work. Like I'm like I brought it up and I was like, yo, isn't that weird that like that like aliens do exist, and that like the fact that they said Bob Lazar wasn't lying and everyone was like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, what do you mean? You've been saying this guy's been lying for decades.
And then you just turn it up. You just change your tune on it, and now suddenly nobody's interested.
Yeah.
It's like the flavor of the month wore off.
It's crazy.
For a little while there, everybody was talking about Bob Lazar and Area 51 and aliens, and then, like, you know, the effect of it wore off, and the next big thing comes up, and TikTok happens, and all this stuff, and now suddenly nobody cares. I mean, all that shit happened within 1 month. They were like, we had trains derailing. We had UFOs,
they don't even talk about that anymore.
Balloon,
everyone acts like, where was that?
Palestine, like, East Palestine.
No, when the train. Oh, yeah. And then, like, they showed like how fucked up the water is, and what's crazy is no one cares anymore.
No one cares anymore.
No one cares. How long did that take? A month?
Less than a month.
Yeah.
It was the biggest thing, and now it's nothing.
Nothing.
But like all that stuff. I mean, I could
no one knows if any of those people are okay.
Dude, I could talk about that shit with you forever, but this episode will probably get flagged and taken down from everywhere.
No, we talked normal in the beginning.
Yeah, we did. We made it past the first 10 minutes. I don't even know if we cussed, man. We did pretty good. But all that shit just is so freaky and coincidental, as most people would call it, but really almost seems like too coincidental to be not on purpose.
It's weird.
In some way, some systematic approach to, like, either
the distraction. Yeah,
either to distract or to actually, you know, sabotage something, you know.
Or like none of the Epstein stuff came out.
Apparently the list came out, but only some people are allowed to see it. You got to wonder about how many people were like, I think Rogan even touched on it. He's like, yo, how many people got phone calls? And they were like, bro, you're on the list.
I was talking
you should lay low for a while. Hey, I killed a guy with a trident. You know, like,
yeah.
I've been meaning to talk with you about that.
You know what else is crazy about Rogan is I found out through my two buddies, there was a Reddit thread going around that he had a guy on, and they didn't release the episode because he was afraid that they would have killed the guy or killed him.
Dude, no shit.
Yeah,
I wonder.
The whole episode was on that there is interdimensions, so that it's dimensional, which means that there's space in between.
Yeah.
And that this guy was talking about, I'm going to do a terrible job of explaining, but what he was saying is that you can take, in between that dimensions, is you can take what's there and you can turn that into energy, and you can turn that energy into fuel that would then, you would be able to use it, and it's around you like air, and it would stop everything from making money as far as like fuel, oil.
Oh yeah.
So like, I guess in the Reddit thread, and I want to look into it because I didn't remember it until we were getting into this conspiracy shit, but in the Reddit thread, they were saying that like they decided not to air the episode because they were afraid. But then I started getting like chills where I was like, all right, well, if you're Joe Rogan and you like he is the voice that goes to everybody, no one else has that. So, you know, you could say like Logan Paul and all that, but they're doing kid show
They're
shit.
doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
This guy's...
He's probably, Paul's probably owned by somebody. So to be a person, that would start getting wild where then I was like, man, do you think like Rogan gets like fucked up in the head or thinks that like somebody would maybe want to kill him because he is a voice that goes out to everybody?
Dude, that whole COVID thing where he got better in 3 days and they were attacking him over the
changed how he
ivermectin
looked
stuff.
on,
They put a filter
CNN.
on him.
Yeah.
Everybody immediately went from Joe Rogan, you know, good guy in the media, biggest guy in the media. Congratulations on your 280 whatever fucking $1 million Spotify deal. Great, cool. Went from that to vilifying him and turning him into the world's biggest fucking conspiracy theorist, misinformation spreader, all this stuff.
But what's like, weird is he's like past that now.
He's way past that.
And like you can see how he learned, he adapts really fast. And now you can see it's not so much there when the comedians are on, but he now knows how to operate. Like, in my opinion, from interviewing people, not that I'm anywhere, but just from interviewing for 7 years straight and then seeing him and paying attention to how he adjusts, like he's been doing it for too long not to adapt to any situation.
Absolutely.
So like when that happened, you could see that it's not going to happen to him again because he's not he is in control.
No, he pivoted on that shit. He juked
and there's not a lot of, and I don't know if it's because of all the other things that he does between stand up and all that, and like it's just made him a very unique person to hold that job because I don't think anyone else could do what he's doing. So like to be able to watch somebody like completely pivot out of that, where I was like, oh man, like he's above all this now. And like you could kind of start seeing where people go above like the woke shit and like there's like layers to it, and he's like up here, and you got to start thinking like, man, so if he has the wrong person on his show, like
I've often wondered if...
But that's why...
I've wondered if
and that entire story could be completely not true.
It's Reddit.
But,
it's Reddit. It could be totally bullshit.
But I guess he had posted that the person was on, and then they never released the show.
Oh, like he put his little Instagram post up or whatever, but it never went out. Okay. That's possible.
So.
Yeah, you take the picture with the guy, and then you realize, like,
I almost don't want to look into it because if it's not true, I don't... You know what I mean?
Right.
I like holding on to it.
I like holding on to that a little bit, too. But I bet if I were him, in his shoes... and I had come out with I beat COVID, I did it in 3 days, and then they started tearing me in everything.
Yeah.
I'd have
Even the Neil Young stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. I'd have to wonder if at some point my number was up and they were going to be like, okay, how do we poison cigar this motherfucker? You know what I mean? Because he clearly runs a tight ship.
That's what the guys were talking about when we were talking about this, is that they were talking about people who have been killed because they've been threatened taking away the oil industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The people that came up with the water-powered engines.
Yes, that's right. He was killed with like a glass of wine or something.
There were actually several people in history, including one guy. There was where was the shooting in upstate New York last year? It was like a grocery store. Albany, Buffalo, one of the towns. Okay. Apparently, one of the guys in that store, one of the victims of that shooting, had just filed a patent for a water-powered engine.
That's crazy.
You can look that one up. I'm pretty sure that's a common known thing that guy was in there and he was shot. And it's just like, man, how many people who come up with some revolutionary thing just meet some weird, untimely demise that just, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's weird because you always hear about it through the ether where it's like, hey, that was a thing. And then it's like, everyone's so busy where they're like, what?
Yeah.
And then, like, you can just keep going forward.
Yeah, shit just gets swept under the rug so fast now.
The alien stuff that the guy came on, I want to watch the documentary. I forget the dude's name. I think his last name was Fox. That was the one.
James Fox.
Yes, with the Brazil, when he went over there, and like how that guy was like crying on air.
Yeah.
And was just like, and a friend of mine told me to stop watching the episode, watch the documentary, and then rewatch the podcast.
I want to watch that as well. I do.
That's how he said to do it. But he said
contact, right? What did he call it?
Yeah.
First contact or something like that.
Yeah. Because first contact is, I guess, when you have an interaction with the alien.
Yeah, I think that's what he called the documentary. It was something contact.
Yes.
I want to watch that because that was fascinating.
But it was all like firsthand accounts, and like I said to my buddy, I'm like, well, what did you think? And he goes, they're just people. He goes, they're not brilliant actors, and he goes, that's what sells it, is like you believe them.
Well, that's the thing, like people denying, all the flat earth people denying all the stuff with, NASA is not, like, I love Eddie Bravo, but that motherfucker's a nut job on some of the stuff. He really is. I love the guy. I've always loved him. He's been a great guest on Rogan. He's obviously started 10th Planet. He's a major force. Like he's like me. He was a DJ. He used to go to work at strip clubs and all that shit. He's probably a really cool fucking dude, right? But some of the shit, man, if you listen to look into it or whatever, bro, that guy just harps on some of the dumbest shit.
Who's the other guy? Sam Tripoli. That does the,
bro, Sam Tripoli might have the most annoying voice.
Yeah.
And of any of the podcasters.
He's fun when he comes on Rogan. I like when Rogan lets those guys rip.
I like listening to him on Conspiracy Social Club with Brian Callen.
I never got into that.
Oh my God, Brian Callen's one of my favorite comedians from back in the day with Mad TV. He was on Mad TV. He was funny back then. He's always been funny. And his brand clashing with Sam Tripoli, like the voice of reason versus the crazy nut job.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I love to listen to it.
What's it called?
It's called Conspiracy Social Club.
Yeah. Do they have a YouTube for it?
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah. Sam Tripoli's got like 7 podcasts though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's amazing. I can't help but listen to him because it's entertaining, but his voice grates the shit out of me.
Yeah.
The way he like skips and he like skips syllables and shit and blah blah blah. Just the way he talks, it's something about his
it's a weird tone.
It's a very weird tone, and he like, I swear he like softens syllables and skips over them and shit, and it almost sound like it sounds like he's like a guy that's like missing some of his teeth or something like that sometimes when he talks, and I'm like, God, this guy,
he's wild.
He is wild, and he gets really like slobbery.
He's got a podcast with Eddie Bravo, doesn't he? Or they used to?
They might have. I believe he does the tinfoil hat thing with Eddie Bravo.
Yes.
They do like touring comedy shows and stuff. Still funny content. I like listening to that stuff, but it's a lot of great points, stuff that we don't hear about in the media.
Yeah,
you know, or stuff that you might hear for a second and then you don't hear about it anymore. Like we were just talking about, it's the biggest story in the world, and now suddenly we're on to, free Britney.
Yeah, it's weird where it's weird, and then you see like her actually out on her own, and you're like, wow, I think she was like a mental patient, and she probably should have someone watching over her.
Maybe, I don't know enough about that, but
just go on her Instagram, bro.
Yeah,
you'll watch 2 videos and go, I don't know if someone should have let her away.
And you got to wonder, maybe somebody did that to her.
Yeah,
she wasn't like that before.
No, like just the princess locked in the
that's what I'm saying.
Room.
Like, and now those are the things, like touching back with Rogan being.
I like
fearful.
those documentaries when they get on Netflix.
Oh, I love
just those like fun random weird ones where it's like free Britney.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that they had a doc? They had a doc about Pam Anderson. I was like reliving my childhood.
Oh yeah, they did. Like, what was that? The Hulu one where they did like the whole? No. That's right. She didn't wear makeup on it or something.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh man, you were on my bedroom wall when I was a kid. The Baywatch One Piece, like.
I prefer growing up like that than the kids are now with like how it's just basically Instagram. You can just turn into a smut magazine.
Oh, dude, Instagram. Worse is Reddit. Reddit is just straight porn.
Yeah.
Reddit, like
same with Twitter.
Twitter's the same way, and I never understood how like all these conservative people like want to use Twitter as a platform when it's like you can scroll past the senator's post and it's fucking butt fucking right there, like graphic as hell right there in front of you on Twitter. That's just the way it can be if you just like let the feed populate for you. It's like this stuff. How can you take this seriously as a political platform or any of these things? How can you people take anything seriously on this thing? I get it, free speech, but like...
It's hard to get into stuff where you get into like the conspiracy theory shit and then you get into like the alien stuff. But then you watch YouTube completely silence people over politics and and then like now you're really seeing that where like... It was weird, like... You could tell things are moving way faster than they used to. Like where I follow Steve Will Do It, and like he's like a big Trump supporter, and like I just liked his videos because he just did wild stuff. And then they basically just banned him, and his entire income was off of the millions of followers he had on YouTube and was monetizing through Full Send. So then It was all Trump stuff. So, like, they don't come out and say that. They just told him, like, hey, there's another strike, and he can't talk to anyone there, because it was very much how YouTube is turning into what Twitter was before it was bought. So, like, now he goes over to Rumble. And, like, back in the day, remember when people used to try and leave Instagram? I remember when there was, like, an artist outrage when they were like Instagram basically told you that if you're putting your shit up there, they can sell those pictures or give those pictures to anyone. And if they want to use them for advertising, they can. So a lot of our artists and stuff were like, we're going over to Likely. And then, like, no one moved over. But now I'm actually seeing a shift where, like, Rumble's coming up. And as stupid as it sounds, and, like, people who aren't paying attention to it, like, OnlyFans TV is now becoming a thing. Like, I think OnlyFans is eventually going to move out of, like, what they're known for. I think that'll always be there. But, like, I watched the roast of Bert Kreischer on there, and I was like, these people have freedom to do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. And
it's like pay-per-view.
And nothing is going to... It's what YouTube used to be. Yeah. And it's like... I feel like a lot of these things, they always swallow themselves like that, where it's like, you know, like, even, like... Where, like, if eventually I'm going to get to a point where I can monetize on YouTube in the next step that I'm going to make, but then, like, like what you said, if we say fuck within the first minute of this, you're no longer allowed to monetize. But then I'm like, all right, well, what if I did move this over to Rumble? Or what if I put all this behind OnlyFans TV?
All the places
like, so, like, exist. If I put this behind a paywall and I just make people pay $1 an episode, or if you pay $5 a month, you get everything. And, like, that helps with me having production costs, because if I'm not making money any other way, it's got to come in some way for me to keep doing this.
These memory cards cost.
So, like, so now it's changing my perspective on, like, how I want to actually release this shit. And, like, Spotify is gonna still, like, I think I have to look into it more, but everything's spinning so fast right now with opening the restaurant. It's very hard to focus on shit. But, like, how Rogan has his videos on Spotify, I think everyone's going to be allowed to do that. And if you are doing that, I feel like Spotify is going to be the next platform, because if they didn't shut Rogan down for his beliefs, it means that they let people say what they want, and that's huge. And I feel like there's a lot of places anymore when you get into all this weird stuff where people are like, I don't know about that, but then you look over here and you're like, well, this company is completely shutting down an entire viewpoint from half the fucking country. Like, maybe it isn't so wild to think that somebody actually would be hiding information on A, B, or C. And I don't know, man. It gets weird sometimes if you look into it.
Sure, look into it. You just gotta look into it. You just gotta look. I'm telling you, just look into it.
It's weird.
No, it is weird. The censorship is real. The corporate censorship it drives me nuts. That, for instance, if you did say the wrong sequence of letters on Twitter, you're shot out.
Yeah.
You're gone. But you scroll past and there's porn stars doing their things and talking their shit and doing whatever they do, and that's fine.
Or if your political views line up with Twitter, you're not getting taken down.
No, if you're on the team with them, I won't say which side of the video game controller D-pad it's on.
Yeah.
But if you're lined up with them, you're good to go.
Yeah,
you can say just about anything you want to.
Steve will do its girlfriend, who's like a model and does all this different stuff. She started her own channel. I don't watch it. But then I saw that Steve was posting or talking in podcasts that they started deplatforming her just because, like, so if Steve's in a video with somebody, they now take down your video. And I'm like, yo, that's
like
wild.
Yeah.
That, like, now you're just taking him down because you're trying to erase him from, like, existence.
Trying to complete censure of his existence.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
I don't know. That's why I like to, like, Dana White kind of fucks with those guys.
Oh, I love him. He doesn't give a damn about anybody.
Yeah,
but he's another guy who's
like,
got to worry about somebody fucking poisoning one of his cigars, because it's like, dude, this guy's too loud. He says too much. He gets too much attention. Like, I'd be so worried if I was somebody high profile like that.
Talking about high profiles, who are the people that bought the WWE and the UFC?
Dude,
that's crazy.
Tell me about it.
Someone was like, who are they? And I'm like, they're the people who are on Epstein Island.
They're the people that, like, all right, everybody's like, oh, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. The fuck he is. That man is not the richest man in the world. There are people that wear white robes that have fuck Elon money, that have
had deer antlers on their heads.
I will buy your country money. They have, like, they're private people, the Saudis and the oil magnates.
It was weird when the WWE was saying that the Saudis were going to buy, but then when they actually sold, it was just a push for bid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that sale
It was
ever,
just a bid fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it's like we used to do on eBay.
Yeah.
Your buddy's selling something, you get on there with 8 different screen names and punch that shit. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, dude, all that stuff. I actually had to trim a lot of stuff out of my podcast intake and all that stuff because I was just thinking and feeling that I was starting to get overwhelmed with the amount of exposure and intake of just not nonsense and not corruption or pollution of my brain or anything. It's all just info and data, but I kind of want to take it back a little bit.
I think that's what I like about podcasts, though, is that you can just turn the channel off.
That's what I mean. I'm turning the channel off.
Because it's essentially radio still.
That's it. So I just turn it, and I don't listen to certain people anymore. And maybe they'll build up a back catalog, and one day I'll go back to it and jump in and have a bunch of back episodes to watch. Cool, great. But I had to really like selectively take some people out of there, man, because it was just the same old shit. Like, for instance, like listening to D'Elia. D'Elia's great. He's funny. Chris D'Elia is one of my favorite comedians. He's hilarious. But like listening to him have like a manic depressive episode on his fucking podcast for 45 minutes every week.
Because he's like talking his therapy out to his listeners.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's I mean, he has somebody in the room with him and he's going back and forth with them. So it's not just him talking to himself. But it
used to be funny. Now it's a therapy session.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't need to be in the room with you and your fucking leather couch and the therapist. I don't need to be in there.
No, I saw some clips from that where he was like, now I'm talking about my feelings. And I'm like, man, this was so much funnier when you were wearing glasses and sitting behind a desk. Yeah. And we're just riffing.
Life was just ripping.
Yeah, ripping.
You know what I mean? Yeah, life was just ripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things like that.
Same thing with Jason Ellis. I used to love the Jason Ellis show when it was on XM.
Yeah, he was great.
It was like who I went to after Opie and Anthony broke up and were like done. And I loved it because it was like the climb to the top. And it was like, you know, in the beginning when it would play like the romper stomper music and he would just give out like motivational shit. I was sober at the time, so it was fun to cling on to that. And I was building my business and it was very motivational. And then at one point his life became super toxic. And then you just had to listen to like his toxic divorce. And then like the one guy left the show. And then it turned into like, it was too much of his life and his life was out of control. Even like now, like when I try to tune back in, because I was like, oh, he's got a podcast. I do like Jason. Like, you know, that was such a big deal when we went viral and they talked about us on our show when we were way back then. So like, I think I will always like a version of Ellis, but like the last time even I tried to talk about it, it's like he's now depressed because Sirius fired him and then now he's got to do his podcast and how great it is that his friends are picking him back up. And I'm like, it's the same thing where it's like it's a therapy session every fucking episode. Yeah. It's just, I'm like, sometimes it's like, I get that you have listeners that like are those people that like will just leech onto that and like will get emotionally with you, and then their day is like, oh man, you know, you like ever run into somebody who's bummed because somebody they follow.
I don't want to absorb that. Man.
Like, or you like run into somebody at the water cooler and they're like, what's up with you? It's like, you hear what happened to Alice, man? It's the same type of people who are upset of like football game losses.
Oh my god. Yes, it is. The day the people who have their entire fucking week ruined because my team, our team, I did it with fighters, man.
Fuck you, I did it with fighters, and then I saw it happening to me where I was like pissed because my fighter lost, and I was like driving home from the scorecard. This is way back when you used to have to go watch them. You couldn't buy them
before we had these prestigious basement events.
Yeah. So like
they're the best.
Eventually there'll be one last one that because I was talking to somebody about when I leave here, and I'm like, everything's gonna change, and like I don't know when I will. My Saturdays are now different. Like I'm excited because my entire life's gonna change. Yeah. And even though there's some good about the good things that I do with watching the fights every Saturday, that is also something that's completely swallowed my life for like the past fucking 20 years. So, what was I saying about
when you were coming home from the fights?
So I was driving home and I'm like all fucking pissed off and like it ruined my night. And I'm like, dude, you can't emotionally attach
That's
to
what
fucking...
I'm saying.
So like when I stopped doing it, the last person I did it to is McGregor, and that is the last person I will do it with. But like I'm I will go down in flames if he goes down in flames. Like, but after he retires, like, I won't ever do that again. And it's not healthy to do that.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
And then when people do it with like podcast people, or like they're just like following their lives and they're attached to it, and they're like, oh, did you see this? And they're gossiping about it and shit. It's not normal, but I guess it does fill a void in somebody's life. But
it fills a void, but at the same time, it's still just it falls.
It's not for me.
Like, it falls under more like useless gossip.
Yeah.
You know, you're not really having enlightening conversations or anything. You're not reflecting necessarily on, wow, what do you see what this guy's going through? Yeah, what do you think about that? Well, if I was him, I'd be doing this, or if I was him, I'd be doing that. No, it's like, yeah, that sucks, and that just attaches to your daily feel there. And now for the rest of the day, you're thinking, man, poor Crystalia.
Like I used to, you used to want to ride along with Ellis because he was going to the top. And then, like, at some point, that just completely shifted. And then it's like, all right, well, we went on this, like, ride. And it used to be fun. Like, you know what I mean? When they were creating, very similar to, like, how I'm talking about, like, like when you're trying to develop a show, it's fun in the beginning because you don't know what you're doing. And it's all kinds of different stuff. And you're trying to see what works. But then, secretly, like, that's the best part is the journey. And then when you get to like developing the show, sometimes you just start doing what works, and then when you get stuck in what works, time goes by, and then you look at what you're doing and you're like, I don't know if this is what I wanted to do. And then when you have a massive platform and you're somebody like Dalia or you're just stuck.
Yeah, because if you change your format all of a sudden, you might lose so much of your listener base.
Yeah, like it's so wild.
Like if Rogan suddenly
his
was
life
like, you know
completely 360'd.
Oh, well,
because he went from like doing like the comedy stuff, then to having the scandal, and he was like, I feel like if that shit happened to him now, it'd blow over. But like when he got like, there was like other comics who were like, that guy's a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Whitney Cummings was like
trying to wreck
saying
him.
to like kill him.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like who else was it? Fat Schumer was like, you know, like all that I hate her. She stinks. Her fucking. She's the reason why you can't give stars anymore on Netflix because her fucking comedy special stunk so bad.
No.
Everybody kept giving her a 1 star. She's the reason now it's thumbs up or not.
Wow.
Yep. Amy Schumer, give it a goog.
Wow. Mark Norman.
I love Mark Norman.
He's one of
I love when they do. Well, they do.
Protect Our Parks.
Protect Our Parks is Protect Our Parks is kind of like. The last
that's the last frontier,
that's the last frontier of a podcast that big, and those guys having the balls to say whatever they want.
Ari getting shit drunk.
Dude, he fucking threw up. But I like that they come into that show and they treat it like how they're just coming into their friend's house to get drunk.
Yeah. They're having the same conversation.
And I like that Rogan lets them do that. Because and like the fact that like Ari's pissing in bottles, and then they did mushrooms, and like I feel like that part, like that's what Joe Rogan used to be on the come up. Yeah, very similar to what I'm talking about. Yeah. And like how they used to just get fucked up, and then like so it's like. I like that, like, and that's why I think I will always still love Rogan, no matter how much things change with his show, and so much he's different, and he's growing, and he's this big, and it's. There's no one else I feel that could handle that as much as he did, but like. The fact that he still does that fuck off show where like they ate mushrooms that one episode, and then like they just keep pushing the boundaries.
Fucking Stars
and then,
of
like,
Death with Joey fucking Diaz.
I don't know.
And
then for him to come up with that comedy club and do all like, dude, that's fucking
he's completely
awesome.
Crushing it. The fact that I don't know. I'm not here like standing Rogan, but I do have to admit that he is a staple of my listening. I definitely do listen to most, if not all, of the episodes that he puts out, and I have for years and years, because the guy clearly has something. Yeah, he's got something there.
But I like that he just picks and chooses what he wants to do.
He does what he wants to do.
He still books everything through just DMs.
He doesn't just have people on because they're doing the circuit. They're doing the Good Morning America circuit. They're doing the Bert Kreischer podcast. Sometimes that happens, and there's an overlap.
I do like I like how Bert stepped up production and has all the different shows. Two Bears, One Cave's awesome.
Yeah, that is a good one. Segura's got that whole
I actually
network
like
to...
when one of them is not there.
Yeah.
And then it's just them and another guest and they're podcasting. And I like that they lie about, like, they're like, oh, Bert's dying.
Yeah, he's going for a liver transplant right now. He's really in a rough shape. But Segura and his wife have like a whole network. They got like the Danny Brown. They got Danny Brown's show.
It took me a while to get used to that because his voice is very different and how he is.
Do you listen to Danny Brown?
I don't. I just his music, yes.
Yeah.
And then I've heard him on. I heard him on a podcast with Tom, and he was really good. And then I know why they brought him on, but like now that I think he's finding his rhythm and is like the show's becoming a show. I watched the one with Shane Gillis, and I was like, oh, I like because he's wild.
I love Shane Gillis.
Yeah, Shane Gillis fucking rules. Yeah.
Dude, the guy is hilarious, man. And I
there's a couple guys in my opinion that like. For no one to be allowed to say anything, and then for those guys to like step up and just not give a fuck what they're saying on platforms and stuff is so awesome to me. It's amazing. It's refreshing.
Yep.
Because like when I see Protect Our Parks, I'm like, oh, this is what podcasting used to be.
Well, that's just what radio used to be. Like O&A, Howard Stern. Howard Stern, we've talked about this. He jumped the shark. He's a fucking ninny.
Yeah, they brought that up about how you know, they're almost like he's too old to be interviewing.
Well, we talked about it last time I was on here. I was complaining about Howard Stern, and I canceled XM because of him. He was the reason I subscribed. He's the reason I paid all that money to have XM over the years.
I liked XM.
I liked it, but then it got the music was just
what did you have? I had the magnet that would go on the outside of my car, and I had the boom box.
Yeah,
that like the center face would go into it, and you had to like put the antenna.
Dude,
I thought I was so cool bringing it to work. I'm like, yo, I got XM.
I'm pretty sure
I got the XM boom box.
I think those old receivers get lifetime service. I'm pretty sure they'll still work.
I have one in one of these drawers.
You should check that. If you take it outside, I bet you that sucker still works because I'm pretty sure they were just lifetime units. But
like I can still pick up XM.
Yeah. I don't think you'd have to pay for a subscription.
When that first came out, I really enjoyed satellite radio. Yeah, like it was something that was like I love listening to music. That was obviously before Spotify and everything. And like having worked at like places like Martin Guitar and these places where you're forced to like, dude, you know what's crazy is like how they used to be able to tell you would say you can't put your headphones in and you can't listen to any music. Like they would tell me like you have to listen to ZZO, and I'm like I look back on that shit now and I'm like fuck you. Yeah. Like who are you to tell me what the fuck to do?
That's so many.
What do you care? What do you care? What do you care? Now I guarantee everyone's got fucking headphones on and they're using their phones and no one fucking cares.
No. It's because society has just progressed past that. Now the boss does it too. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I catch up on my audibles in the office all day. You know, it's the same shit we all do.
It's funny because one thing I keep picturing is when that's open, because the kitchen is in the back from everything. Next time you're in town, if it's daylight, I'll walk you through it.
Please.
It's kind of cool because construction actually started. So in the kitchen, like it's gonna be away from it. So I'm like, oh man, like at Sal's or at Giacomo's, like we have to listen to the music that's in the lobby. So like we'll listen to music and then Sal will change it. But like I'm so excited to be able to listen to music, like because there's a part of me that doesn't realize that what I'm about to do is like I have full control over a kitchen for the first time ever, and I'm not working in a kitchen. I own it with Gina, so like I'm like, oh, I can just have music on.
Yeah.
Like I don't got someone telling me to be like, hey, you can't do that. And like, that's why I didn't want an open. Yeah, that's why I didn't want an open kitchen.
You can have the music that the customers.
Oh, there's 100% gonna be
and then
that.
You're gonna have.
I'll buy my UE boom off in the corner.
Yeah, it's
because then I was like, oh man, like, do I want to do this in there? And then like the more I keep thinking about it, I'm like, this is gonna be wild. Because like the whole reason when I came in here, I looked at Jesse. I walked through this. It's funny looking back on like the entire progress of all of this happening. But I walked down here with Brian Jandrew and Jesse, and I wanted Jandrew to look at it as far as like, hey, could we put a wall up? And it was like, we didn't even know if we were going to do anything and whatnot. And when I was down here, Jesse's like, yo, this is perfect. And I was like, yep. And I was like, we're going to be here for 5 years. And he's like, dude, do not fucking move this studio again. But I knew going into it that we would outgrow it. Going up there, that's a 10 to 15 year palette. Like between the fucking restaurant, between the private dinners, between doing music there, between doing having 3 different studios, between possibly taking over the basement, and then all have, like, I won't have roadblocks. I don't, like, there's always been something in my way. Now we have a licensed kitchen. We have a TV production studio connected to a venue. And then I'm like, all right, well, what's going to happen now?
You have a club.
Yeah. So it's like, and then, like, because I'm at the studio and I own that, and then connected to the studio is the restaurant, and I also half own that. I'm essentially have control over half of a building.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is going to get fucking weird. But going into that...
Only as weird as you want it to be, bud.
But only going into that, it's like, sometimes I don't realize how much control I'm going to have over everything. That's cool. It's like,
cool.
I like, but that's what this whole goal was, is even though I'm opening a business and it's turning into a job and I'm going to have regular hours, it's like how, what you said about getting up and doing all this shit is it's my freedom.
Yeah.
I don't have someone telling me, hey man, you can't listen to that.
No.
Hey, I need you to focus on what you're doing, and focusing on what you're doing means that you can't be listening to music. I'm like, I don't stop listening to music.
No.
I don't ever stop listening to music.
You're going to get to craft your workplace the way you've always wanted it to be, man. I know you've been doing some version of that for a while, but even still, like, you have your taste of going to work with Sal. Now you work under Sal's rules, and that's fine because Sal runs a pretty cool ship.
It's
over
awesome.
There.
It's awesome. I'm learning so much from, like, kind of just watching what he does.
Yeah. Well,
and a lot of it is he gives people freedom, and because he gives them freedom, they do their job. And I'm just like,
He floats behind that counter, and he kind of finds a place where something needs a little slack picked up, and he grabs it and he does it.
Or he's doing the heavy lifting in the basement. It's crazy.
Yep.
His parents are still there working.
Yep.
And they want to. Like, he tried to stop them, and he said that they got, like, really pissed at him, and it fucked up his relationship with his dad, and he just lets him go.
Yeah. They want to contribute.
That's
so let
great.
him do it.
I mean, I also said to him, I'm like, it's a different generation.
Wasn't it their place?
Yeah, originally,
So, you know, they're just...
But it's a different generation. You grew up, you worked.
Yeah, that's what they did. And then if you don't work, you slow down. And what happens when you slow down? You get old.
Yeah.
So they're old, but let's not get them stagnant. That's not good for anybody. You need to keep that body moving. So it's probably great for them. Having some old people need structure just like we do.
I don't think I don't know. Like, if I end up, like, cruising at some point, I'll travel and it'll be considered work because, like, I don't know. In the end of this, I see myself traveling and doing like, not a TV show, but not vlogging, but, like, I can't tell you what it is because what I'm picturing isn't something really that, like, I can do right now. But, like, in the end, I would like to just be doing, you know, having somebody run throughout, you know, because that's the other thing is, like, I don't want to get stuck on that flat top. Like,
No.
I want to create jobs in 3 years and hire somebody to do the jobs that I created, step back, and, like, Gina wants to do the same thing. So it's like there's a point where, like, I want to have a little bit more freedom, and, like, if I'm at where I'm at now doing this, where am I going to be at in 3 years with everything I just said? So it's like, in my opinion, I could end this by just traveling.
You could.
And that's work.
You could take on, like, a whole man versus culture vibe.
I would love to do
just like a
something
man
like
versus
that.
food or whatever. You could do man versus culture, Mike versus the world.
I mean, you know how it is. How much traveling and fucking free time do you ever have?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I get little rips now, and then, like, how I went to New Jersey, and, like, when I post all that shit, I get feedback on it, and I'm like, all right, well, if that works on that dumb photo scale, not dumb in the sense of, like, I just meant, like, it's not hard to take pictures and put them on Insta Story.
You don't even caption most of them. You just load them up.
Yeah.
Just load them up.
Because it's like I'm just doing it all in the moment. And the only reason I keep doing that is because I get feedback from people who are interacting with me on it. So from doing this that long, I'm paying attention to that. So I'm like, all right, well, there's something there because you're telling a story. So this would work in the sense of, like, how Fuck That Delicious is done now.
Yeah.
And I see what he's doing, and I'm like, oh. And then everything's turning. It's funny that, like, everything went to streaming. Streaming replaced TV, but then streaming is becoming TV.
Yeah, streaming is slowly starting to find the out-of-work TV producers that need jobs, and they're like, listen, you do have a good thing here, that's great, it's grassroots, but we can make it even better. Now, Fuck That's Delicious, for example, I mean, he hacked off Mayhem, Loren, and Big Body. They're gone.
Everyone's gone.
They're gone. So now it's just him. No Al, no
like,
nobody.
what's funny is, like, somebody had brought that up, and, like, it originally was just him, I believe, and then it turned into those guys because Vice paid for it all.
Yeah.
So
and Vice is going out of business from what I heard.
Fuck
I heard Vice is almost out. They're almost done.
They tried to steal a bunch. I don't like them for a bunch of reasons, but one of the main ones is they tried to fuck him over, and they tried to steal his show. They tried to steal a show from Body, and he basically pitched them. I watched, because I usually watch anything Action does just because I like the way he carries himself. Same. And his vocabulary is always like 80s wrestling.
Yes.
So he was like talking about how
Chuck Knobloch.
He like he'll just describe something and reference like an old baseball player. He's like, that's like Lenny Dykstra.
Yeah. Fucking nails.
So he was saying that Body pitched a show to Vice being like, because like there was an episode where Action wasn't on, and they just filmed Body in bodegas, and they were super entertaining, and he was just in these bodegas ripping on people, and then he went to like I can't think of the culture that he's from, but he went to like a street festival, a Lebanese street festival or something, and he then was like, hey, we can do this as like a spin-off series. And Vice is like, hey, we're not really interested in that. Maybe we'll come back on it. Then he said they called him in and was like, hey, man, would you be interested in doing this show? And they pitched him his show, because the thing that Action did with them is Action owns the rights and everything with Fuck That's Delicious.
Yeah, it's his thing.
So they wanted to come around, and because Body would have owned all that then, just like Action did, and then they don't make as much money off of it. So if they come full circle on that and then come back around and pitch the show to them, now they just pay Body to be on the show, and then they own the rights and can keep making money off of it. That's why it's still Fuck That's Delicious, because when he came in, that was all him. That was his music. That was his fucking show. That was fun, man. If you were an Action Bronson fan at that time, I remember when that show first came out, we were driving into Philly and going to those spots, and they were fucking bomb. And then I was like, oh, this dude knows his shit. Then he got picked up with Vice. The show popped. And those old ones, I watched those again, dude. They're just high as shit, making fun of each other, walking around like Italy.
It's the shit talk, just B-roll.
Then it went to the H and Alien show, and then it went to where I think Vice started having a problem was he did like a variety show where he had like Balky Bartolomeos on, and he's just like wrecked on
Bronson
edibles.
Yeah,
and then they got like a brass band behind him. I don't know. He's motivated me to do so much. He's
very eclectic.
And then he's doing the fucking New Balance deal, dude. Who's doing shit like that?
Yeah, he's a Renaissance man.
That's dope.
He's said it before. He's a Renaissance man. He does it all.
I'm glad Vice is going under. I don't
like it either. And
it started out so cool, and then it just went so stupid.
They used to have that show at Hamilton, the Pharmacopoeia.
The guy just like licked toads.
Yeah. But it was cool because they could put a show.
That was the
like
early on shit. It was like that. It was Fuck That's Delicious.
This dude's going to crack dens.
Deuce and Miro.
Yes.
They left the network too, and I think they're on Showtime or HBO now.
Things stick around for seasons now, man. Vice had its time in the sun. It's gonna wither.
I liked all their like journalism shit, and it was like real out there.
Some of it's real woke too, though, and I'm not into that.
That's where it got. That's where I was like, this is fucking.
Yeah, it's crap.
It was too much.
But,
too much.
You know, the media is weird like that. We swallow whatever they feed us for the most part, man, and it's just that's why I had to take a step back and be like, I'm gonna tune out a lot of the things that I've been listening to real heavy, and it was just like some of this stuff's just clouding my brain.
Yeah, people get into politics a lot. I check out immediately.
Yeah, that stuff drives me nuts.
I can't get into it at
all.
Like
even when like Rogan has like Rogan might have like a Tulsi Gabbard or somebody.
I don't ever listen to those.
No, they're not as good. Now if he had like Jesse the Body Ventura on, I'll fucking
Has
listen
he ever
to that.
had him
Yeah,
on?
I think he did have him
way
on
back,
before.
way back.
And he's I'll tell you what, Joe Rogan.
Do you remember when he came on O&A and he got into it with Jim Norton?
I don't.
And he said something stupid to Jim Norton, and Jim Norton was like, nice fucking hair.
I'll body slam you.
He's coming to the Sands or whatever again.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Have you gone to see anything lately?
No, I have not. Dude, I've been just straight. You know, I moved into this new spot, and the winter was not as busy as previous winters have been. I don't know if the economy's weird. Everything's expensive as hell right now.
Yeah.
You know, the grocery store costs people on average about double what it used to now. The gas station's expensive. Everything's expensive. All my shit went up. I know my insurances and stuff went up. Everything goes up. So I don't know if that was just an indicator of the economy. This past winter was a little bit slower than it has been. The calls have been coming in, so that's cool. But over the winter, like, that just gave me more time to start improving myself. Like, I realized I was spending so much time listening to all these people doing all these things, and I'm like, what do? I wake up in the morning and I come to my shop and I work on cars, and then I go home and I fall asleep and I repeat the cycle. And I'm like, you know, I was falling into a really unhealthy kind of a habit there. And for instance, touching on like the hot box that I used to work in, the end of last summer, I got sick with this gastro thing and I got COVID. The COVID part really wasn't all that bad. The gastro part fucked me up, dude. I couldn't hold on to any of my food for like 2 weeks. Like, nothing I put in stayed in. It was bad. And then you factor that into the end of a hot summer, sweating in that box, and then all those long bike rides that I do and all that stuff. I hit the lowest weight ever near the end of last summer. I hit 148 as an adult at 6'2". Like,
yeah,
there's nothing to me. Like, you can look at pictures from that time, and I looked like shit. I felt like shit. Probably sounded like shit. You know what I mean? My whole constitution was just gone there as far as my build. And so I made a change. I started eating better, eating more. I can't say that I have like the most healthy, balanced diet because I'm on a weight gain plan right now where I just want to.
It's hard to take that much protein in.
It is. Yeah. You're talking about my target's like get back to my 180 pounds, which I hit. I'm there. You know what I mean?
Doggy.
Great, feeling good. But it took a lot to get there. Gaining weight, eating food, forcing it in 5-6 meals a day.
What do you do, macros?
I'm not even, dude. No, I'm so not scientifically.
Neither am I.
Based on the way I put my food. My general idea was you need to gain weight, which means you just need to eat more of everything you eat.
Yeah.
Plus healthy stuff like with just straight
protein shakes.
Good steak.
Were you working with JM
and stuff? I was not working with JM, but JM actually was one of my hugest inspirations because JM had a similar build to me. He's a little shorter than me, but JM wasn't really a big guy. Strong as shit. You know JM.
Yeah.
He's a bear. But I saw dude in the gym. This was actually before transitions and all that stuff happened because, you know,
he's over in Nazareth now.
He's in Nazareth now. He left Bethlehem, and I have no idea what happened there. Really don't need to, but I know that my man JM is on his path right now.
Yeah.
He's crushing it. He's killing it. He's self-made. Dude, I love that dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's a huge inspiration to me. And I saw him growing. He was getting jacked.
Yeah, dude.
He was.
I remember from him coming in here and then watching him start getting into like his weight training and all that.
Yeah.
And then him just starting to do the pull-ups, and then you start seeing his back get bigger.
And then you start seeing his food, and he starts sharing how this is how I'm doing this. You got to keep track of this. I'm nowhere near as disciplined when it comes to like keeping.
I just saw you posted. I didn't know if you were working with him directly.
No doubt. No, I shouted him a DM one day, just, you know, because we've talked before, you know, but I was just like, yo, man, for real, you lit me up. Thank you. Like, your workouts and what you were doing really kind of made me see that it wouldn't be that much of a big change to my daily habits if I just started doing that too. And I could be on the same road as you. And when I hit that low weight last summer after getting sick, I was like, yo, it's time.
Yeah.
I got to do it. So I started making myself a shitload of eggs and meat and just everything. Eat everything. That's my diet. I eat fucking everything. And I add push-ups, pull-ups, calisthenics, body weight exercises, free weights.
That's usually how I ever gotten anywhere is like doing shit like that, like push-ups, sit-ups, hiking.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, like I've tried going in gyms. I love cardio, but like
cardio's good, but it ain't gonna gain you weight.
No, but like just like how I've ever gotten anywhere, either like losing or gaining weight or doing anything like that, even when I was younger, I never could just get into lifting weights, and it was always just like prison shit. Like
I like lifting weights. I don't like heavy weight lifting.
Yeah.
Like, I share a wall with a gym at my shop. They are some competitive heavy weight lifting.
Do you go over there and do anything?
I do not. No, it's a private gym. I have no need. I have my own gear. I bought years ago, I bought my own stuff. I bought
Yeah.
plates, I bought bars, I bought all that stuff. I got dummies, I got bars, I got everything. Got pull-up bar, got, you know, what I need.
It's crazy with pull-ups, like seeing the growth of them.
Dude.
Because like the first time you do them, you're like, ah. I remember
suck.
I was doing them fucking a lot, just waking up in the morning. I'd do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. And when I would do the pull-ups, like I was like, all right, I could get like 3. And
Yeah.
then like a couple months go by and I'm like at 10. I'm like, it's wild
And your
to see.
form is better.
Yeah.
And then you realize you were sloppy.
Yeah.
And you start tightening things up, and then you go for different grips. You start moving.
I wanted to get one down here. I didn't have the doorway to do it.
That's the thing. Yeah, if you don't have a, well, you know, I'd like to have one that's not on a doorway.
Yeah.
Because I can't do very wide grips on a door on my doorway bar, because you just can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're limited. I'd like to have one that's like in the dirt, you know, out in the yard, that I have to like put a stool up to get not
Prison
you know, like
stuff,
put a,
bro.
Yeah, put a milk crate down, and hop up on that thing. I don't care. I'd love
DMX style.
Yeah, I'd love to be doing muscle ups and stuff like that on
Yeah.
bars and everything. I follow this dude Turbo.
Some people just go to like those rec or like not rec centers, but sometimes when I go hiking, there'll be like a path where like families can walk, and
Yeah.
then in the middle there's like the jungle gyms, and there's actually like workout stations you can do
Yeah.
on the walk.
Totally.
Yeah, sometimes
You can do dips, you can
Sometimes
do-
you can go to places like that and get the solid pull-up stuff.
You sure can. But that was, you know, going back to what pushed me, JM was definitely pivotal in that, because I saw dude's back getting wide.
Yeah.
And shoulders growing and all this stuff. And I was like, see, dude looked like me before. You know, he was, I don't know what he was competing at with his weight with jiu-jitsu, but I'd imagine he was in the 55s or something like that. Or maybe, I don't know. What would you look at him?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. We could probably go back and reference a podcast, and he probably says somewhere what weight he was rolling at, but you could tell he put some size on.
Yeah, he did.
He put some size
Yeah.
on, and I was just like, "Damn, dog! Like you just inspired another."
I'm glad
another
he's in
skinny
Nazareth.
guy.
It's another
Me
shop
too.
and a legitimate thing.
And it's just-
Anyone who asks me about it, I'm like, yeah, that dude's like legit as fuck.
Dude's a monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster, and that's one of my plans is actually to.
We don't get a lot of
get in and
legit
roll with
things.
him. I would like to do that.
You want to go over there?
I would like to roll with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to just learn. I'd like to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really been into the martial arts or anything like
Now's
that.
the time to do it. They're on the come up over there. Classes are smaller.
They are, and I know that he's got the time now.
Yeah.
Whereas like where he was at before, I think that school was getting big for its britches, and you know it was getting to the point where they needed multiple instructors and all the other stuff.
That's where you start having problems.
Yeah, you can, absolutely. More
Yep.
problems, more money, more students, more whatever. You're gonna have more issues to come up with. Not to say that Zach doesn't handle that shit with grace.
No.
It looks like Zach does a great, fantastic job over there, and he's got a team of killers too.
It's just different.
right.
when,
It's a different approach. I don't know what happened with all that. I wish everybody the best in that.
I'm just saying when you
side.
grow anything,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, this started out with 6 people. It's now just me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Even just last year, Jesse was here.
Yeah.
But you know, things change. People's lives go in different directions, and you've got to roll with it. And you know, somebody like JM could easily get disheartened about, you know, putting a lot of time into something.
It's different. I mean, like stuff changes. Like when I
doesn't.
started doing this full time, it was like, you know, I used to do the show with Jesse because we were both working, and then we would do it after work.
Yeah.
So then, like, when I started ripping it full time for me, and then the availability was to do it in the afternoon, and then I didn't have to be here till 12 o'clock at night, I just started ripping. Sometimes I was like, what's crazy is looking back on it and doing like 3 podcasts in a day.
Yeah.
And then having
you did
3.
too.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you in the morning. You'd be like, "Oh, I got this guy coming at this
Yeah.
time, and then I got that, and then I'm gonna have some lunch, and then I got this dude."
Yeah,
coming."
so
I'm
it's like,
"Damn."
you know, for me to fit 3 people in there, it didn't make sense for me to wait. And then it was like and then it got to a point where I just wasn't doing them at night because there was no point in doing them that late.
And you're asking your potential guests to come down here at night. Some of them are traveling.
Yeah,
some
if they
distance.
the travel and like, because there was a point where I was grabbing people from out of the area.
Oh yeah.
So like,
you, had a lot of
know,
people
I had
coming.
people coming driving, you know, like just recently the guys from the airsoft thing, like they drove almost 3 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like, you know, they stayed here and got lunch and like hung out for a little bit, or I've had people that want to hang out a little bit because they're coming in, but they can't do that at nighttime.
No.
And like now that I'm doing them at this time again, it's actually way more difficult to fucking book them because I say, hey, like I get out at 3, but I tell everybody like, hey, I'm not available till 4 because like, I don't know. I'm sure it's the same with you. Like when you start getting further along and your time is constantly dealing with people and networking, it's like that time in the van from fucking Giacomo's to the studio and like I want to decompress and take a fucking shower.
Bro, for real, that decompression time is no joke. And I keep bumping this mic because I'm gesticulating with my hands like an Italian person. Yeah, but no, for real, that ride home, sometimes that ride home is like all that I need.
The only time you get.
It's all I need, man.
Sometimes I don't even listen to music. I'll just sit there and be like, okay.
Well, that's how you know the day kicked your ass, man.
You just sit in silence and you don't even know you're in silence.
I didn't plug my phone in. Yeah. I got an old school car. I got to plug my phone actually in. I don't have none of this Bluetooth.
I started using the what is it called? It'll say it right here. Like the personal or the private. Like people, I have my shit set up. Like if you call me, it goes right to voicemail, and if you text me, I have no notifications.
Do you mean your phone has like a top 8? Like some people can get through?
No, I've not. No one can.
No one can.
No,
so
not even my mom.
Like a do not disturb kind of deal.
Yeah, but like once I started doing that, I started realizing how much time I was wasting from people texting. You ever get stuck in a group chat?
Oh, I mute every group chat. I've ever
even though you mute it, you still get a notification, and when sometimes I'll look at my phone and there's 65 missed text messages, and then I look through them all and it's nonsense. And then one day I looked at somebody I was with and I just go, that would have been 2 hours of my time.
Yeah, we get that all the time actually. We've got an installer group chat in Modesta, and like it's always getting corralled back on track because people start sending GIFs and memes and shit, and I'm like, I don't care about this stuff at all.
And then if somebody if somebody has an Android and somebody has an Apple, you can't leave.
Yeah. I can't get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm not a fan of those. People might think I'm like a curmudgeon about it or whatever, but it's like, yo, like that time is my day.
Yeah.
And if it's going ding, 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 and it's rapid fire because 17 people are converging on this text thread, man, it drives me nuts. It's
why I like riding my bike, and it's why I like hiking, and it's why I like having the phone set up like that. Yeah, I'm left alone.
Dude, we still got to go on the bike. You know that. It's been a long time. We've been trying to arrange this.
My back is so fucked up right now.
Yeah.
Last year I was obsessed with hiking, and this year I was like, you should probably get back on the, because it's such low impact.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I don't even need much done to it. I probably need
I'll get you a tune-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't even think I need a tune-up, because the last time I got it tuned up, I rode it once and that was it.
So you probably just need air in the tires, maybe a little lube on the chain. You know?
I'll probably just have it once looked over, just because the last time I thought it was fine and had it looked over, the guy was like, your crank would have fell off in the woods.
Yeah.
And he's like, you would have been walking this
That would have sucked.
But no, I was, it's funny because the bike's always, it's in the back, and like I used it for 2 or 3 years, and then last year I just got into hiking, and then this year my back's just screwed up and my knees hurt more, and then I was just like, why don't you get back on that bike?
Where's your back hurt? Low? Mid?
Low. I fucked it up years ago, and then just tree work, stupid shit.
Yeah.
And then my knees are bone on bone.
You ever done an inversion table?
No, I want to get one. I always thought the ceilings were too low here, but I want to get one for the new studio.
You'd be fine. You could do it down here.
I need to get one.
Go on Marketplace. You can find somebody who's been using it as a clothing rack for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
I would do that because they're not cheap. But honestly, that's a really cool feeling, man. You hang, and I swear you can feel yourself getting taller. Like you let the arms go, and you just hang, and you start grazing your fingertips on the floor. My uncle has one. I don't have one at my house, but I've used his on any occasion where I start to feel shitty. And in the years past, my back problems were a lot worse. But I've actually noticed since I started on this new workout path, it feels so fucking lame to even say that, bro. Like my fitness journey, my voyage. No, I've noticed building functional strength in my body. I feel way less of the aches and pulls and pinches that I had, because I have L2, L3 pinch, got x-rays and all that shit for it to prove it. It's messed up back there.
I don't know. I just started losing feeling in my fingertips.
That's not good.
Nope.
You wanna definitely get some stretching going on in your life.
That's what I started. Well,
do some hanging. My mom was like decompression.
I told my mom, she's a nurse. She was just like, from what it sounds like, she's like, just start ripping ibuprofen, and she's like, just start stretching. And I was like, whatever. All my problems would be solved if I stretched every morning.
Stretch and hang. So I'm telling you, hang.
This week I got up and I found it was this chick on YouTube, and it was like I just typed in lower back morning stretch, and it was a 10-minute stretch, and then she's got a 20-minute stretch. So I did it Monday, and I did it today, and I've been getting up a half hour earlier, and it is a complete, like, I did it, and then, like, what was the most, I was riding my Grommet, and I couldn't feel anything anymore on the controls of, like, the brakes and anything, and I'm like, this isn't good at all.
Well, what that has...
And then with the stretching now, on my rides in, I'm like I wasn't able to close a fist right. Like, it's still a little bit awkward now, but it's getting better from doing yoga in the morning. And I'm like, all right, we're day 2 in, and I'm like, I start now mentally being like, let's just go, like, balls deep into yoga. And I'm like, why don't you? Your body
why don't you go down
my
and
body
see
is
Sue?
a cement.
Why don't you go see Sue?
Because I think the idea of going and doing stuff, I just say no because of my time window. But me getting up and doing it here, and I'm like, you could do this. You don't need to go to a class. Like, get up, follow the lady. No, but then when I did it day 2, I was like, hey, if you get to a point where, like, you are not a cinder block, you should start going to classes.
Yeah.
And, like, going after, I'm like, I don't know, that's, like, I always wanted to do jiu-jitsu, but then I always wanted to knock the weight off. And then I started working out over at Finishers with Josh over there, where we just did, like, things. And then I did a program called E2M, and I knocked a bunch of weight off. But it was something that, like, it was like anything else. If you stop doing it, you're fucked. Well, the whole diet was you can't eat anything. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm not opening up a fucking restaurant, and I'm going to be like, cool, I'm having oatmeal today. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to live that way. It's not how people should live.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I don't know. I go through my ups and downs, but I think I'm a little bit more serious now because I can't feel my fucking hands, where I'm like, yo, dude, like, if you keep fucking around, you're going to find out in the wrong way, and you're not going to fucking want... You're not going to want, I don't want to deal with this shit. And I want to travel when I'm older, and I don't want to do what my dad did, which is essentially not take care of himself. And
I wouldn't doubt
be
if that
fucked.
Grom, I bet that Grom had something to do with your finger sensations.
I don't sleep right. I sleep terrible. I, like, wake up hurting myself.
Are you on your side or on your...
Everything. Like, I wake up and I'm like Scorpion, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're wild.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think it's, I didn't find out that I need, like, a harder bed to sleep on, because the soft beds, I move around a lot. So when I move and get a different bed, I'm definitely going to, like, look into, like, what I need for, like, a fucked up back.
Maybe even go get, like, one of them sleep studies or something.
Yeah, I do need to do
fucked up
that.
about you. But the stretching thing and the hanging, I really think that you would get a kick out of that. You should hang.
I'm 100% getting one, because I started talking to more people about it, and I was like, just to be done standing on my feet all day and lock into that and just be upside down and, like, pull everything.
You're not going to be able to do it for very long in the beginning. Going upside down is it's a thing, and it rushes, and you know you have to get used to that. But now when I get up and I wake up, I get dressed, do the commute to the shop, and that's when I walk in, and before I even start with a car or anything, it's my time. And I stretch, I lay down on the floor on my mats, and I just do a couple of rudimentary stretches.
Yeah. It's funny because I started doing the same thing, where now when I wake up, I'm like, I don't look at my phone. And I tell myself, I'm like, yo, you're not turning that phone on and, like, immediately being oversensitized with all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do your yoga first, then you got to make a cup of coffee, then you're going to take a shower, and then you're going to sit over there and have your cup of coffee, and then you could use that as a newspaper. And then if you want to go on there and look through all that dumb shit. And when I did that, I started realizing, like, sometimes when you're just buried in that thing, I do have time, but it's not, because I'm just being preoccupied by bullshit.
It's procrastination.
Yeah.
It's a procrastination machine. I have the same problem with it, and I try to consciously
The whole world
stay aware of
does.
it. The whole world does. And anybody that I try to bring light to that.
Do you watch anything with Chris Stefano or
Chris
whatever?
Stefano, Chrissy D. Chrissy D.
So, like, he's off of it completely and pays somebody to run it. And
Yep.
he said that, in his opinion, that he said in 20 to 30 years from now, people are going to be looking back on this as the same way people are looking at cigarettes right now.
Oh, yeah. They're going to hate them.
Yeah.
Because this ruined a lot of people. It's ruined a lot of kids.
Yeah.
It's destroyed a lot of adults.
Yeah.
Their attention span shit. Their comprehension is shit. Reading retention and all that stuff out the window.
Dating.
Dating is, I hear from my single friends that
It's a nightmare.
They have a nightmare. Yeah.
Everyone always has a better option.
It's that, and just honestly,
well, I mean, it's like the idea of like, oh, well, I'll find somebody else.
A lot of people are just putting out fake too.
Back in the day, you just would meet someone and be like, oh, all right, hey, I like this, and then they're not thinking, hey, you know what? There's probably a better version of this guy.
Yeah, these people are having conversations for days, weeks.
Yeah,
the talking stage or whatever, the DM stage, but they've never met each other in person yet.
And then, but what's crazy about a text message is you interpret it like when you texted me and said, "I'm on my way over." I could have read that any way I wanted to. I could have read it as in you were stressed. I could have read it you were angry. I could have read it as you were lazy.
Yeah,
I could have read that in any way possible.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know.
There's no tone.
So like if you're talking to a female, and it's happened to me, where like you start making scenarios up, like you start feeding into like, oh well, she said goodnight, and I'm like, oh man, she was thinking about me, but she could just been like goodnight.
Yeah,
I better text him so it doesn't look like I'm not
ghosting him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm over here falling in love. You know what I mean? And like when I caught myself doing that,
that's like beef.
Yeah,
that chick's like catfishing dude with the pictures of her assistant or whatever, and I was like, this dude's like.
So now it's like when I talk to people and stuff, I'll just be like, all right, cool, like a day or two, and then I'll stop, and then I'll be like, hey, let's meet up. Let's go get a drink.
That's nice.
That's normal.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
And then you go out and then you talk at a bar or something, and then it's just like, cool, I haven't done this in fucking 20 years.
I feel like...
And then I'm like, cool, I don't have time to date anyone.
I feel like
this is terrible.
What do they call those bags that they use at the comedy theaters and stuff? They call what are they?
They lock them up.
Yeah, Faraday bags or no Faraday. The Faraday cage blocks like all reception and shit.
I'm sure they have it on. I'm sure they have it at. They have to have it at workplaces.
They should have it in a lot of places.
Yeah.
I mean, kids in school. Kids shouldn't be allowed to have smartphones in school. No. Like, I know friends who grew up to be teachers and all that stuff. These kids are bad as hell.
They're dumb.
These kids don't care about nothing. They're
so dumb. They're so dumb.
They can't make eye contact with you.
Like a dancing career on fucking TikTok.
Yeah, or no, they're gonna be slap boxers. That's what they're gonna be.
What people want to be
dude,
now?
I'm telling you, man, it's whatever trend pops up. These people are so impressionable and malleable. It's just like boom, 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 go after the kids, man. And I know I probably sound like a broken record to people who are like, wah, wah, make your own destiny. The internet doesn't control it. Some of these people are pretty impressionable, man, and the internet really does dictate what goes on with their being.
100%.
And the kids are the worst with it. I mean, these kids...
They're plugged into it.
And now they got Chat GPT. They're faking their essays. They don't give a... they're not doing nothing. Half of my fucking generation doesn't know then and then, your and your, 222. They don't fucking know that shit.
Yeah.
Me, that was driven and pile drived into my fucking brain. Like, you are not going to leave this third grade classroom without knowing this stuff. I don't know where all these people came from that just completely either didn't know it back then and somehow skated, or just forgot about all the stuff. Because like, I look at the people online and I'm like, you all write like fucking dopes.
Yeah,
you write like idiots. Yeah. And then you talk
to them. It's like another language
same.
Is invented.
And people using the word literally in place of basically any other word that it could mean actually, honestly, truly, all the things. No, they use the word literal. I literally like almost fell over.
What's wild is that like it's affecting every race, person, sex,
all of them. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Spread through everything.
Because like all the shit with girls, where like they could just do OnlyFans, and then like make money, and then it's like, and then there's like guys can do something, and then there's like anybody who is a person has this so-called opportunity to do whatever they want, and they all think that they're gonna make money or do something off of it, and it's just like gutting. how many like regular hometown girls that you know have like an OnlyFans and must probably have like 3 people that subscribe? Because like I try and explain to people like with like the Gypsy Sister and what Kelly did.
Kelly's hilarious,
but like the only reason that was Kelly, I'm super close with Kelly, and I talk to Kelly quite a bit. We've been best friends for a very long time. So like I remember when she asked me if she should do that, and she contacted me, and at that time she had 700,000 TikTok followers, and she said, but like that's what I'm saying is like
that number got out of hand.
That number is not normal for everyone. So I know people that have had no following and have started OnlyFans, and they put themselves out there and they're up for a month, and then like what people don't understand, and I only know a lot about this between Kelly and my personal interactions with OnlyFans, is like you can't search for like OnlyFans isn't like Instagram where you can just go through and pick out a girl.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's like that where you can just scroll.
So like that's why you see all the Instagram girls being like OnlyFans link,
because you'd never find them otherwise,
which is genius because they have to advertise for OnlyFans. So like that's a part of why I think OnlyFans is like, that's such genius marketing, is like everyone has to promote you.
This can work for you, but you're going to
not come to the site and then stay on it and look through it. Every single person. So if there's 50 fucking million girls on there, 50 fucking million girls have to say,
post a link,
go to OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So like, when she went over there, the only way you can really make money on that, and why you see everybody doing it who has a massive following, is you need to move the numbers over.
Yeah.
So I said to her, I'm like, look, if you do this and you don't even get naked, and let's say you move 200, let's say
if you move 10%.
Yes. So like, I was like, and you got them to go, you could make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And she's like, so what do you think? And I was like, I think I was like high, and like gave her this big speech. I was like, you need to show your titties.
Yeah.
So like, when she did that and she started telling me how much money she was making, it was fucking wild. But the only reason why she's able to make a couple $100,000 is because she had 700,000. So like, if you have some young impressionable girl who sees somebody making a lot of money like that, and then they don't have a following, and 8 local dudes are just jacking off to her, you're like, you know what I mean?
She makes $80 a month. She's balling.
Now you're,
all right, Michael?
Now you're back to where we were as kids, where a girl would flash you at a bar.
Yeah.
That is the extent of what you're doing.
It's a little bit more akin to like, she did amateur night at the Grandview.
Yeah.
That's what it is. She put herself out for the amateur night at Grandview, and she danced, and she spun around, and she gave it her all, and she probably made about $70 in tips that night. And now everybody knows she's willing to do it. But there are no repeat customers.
So it's like you have generations that think that they can just go over to that.
Yeah.
But then there's also the people who are trying to build up their following. It's not easy to do. It's easier for a girl to do, but it's not the easiest thing.
What is a guy supposed to do on OnlyFans? Like, is a guy supposed to go over and just spin helicopter with that thing and be like, what the fuck?
But see, I think there are dudes who are making that kind of money. I think I don't ever see it because that's not my wheelhouse, but I know that they're more than likely out there.
Well, they're probably just performing straight up scenes at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
it could, but see,
content.
But like, it's like, that's the thing though. It's like, the way OnlyFans is that like I could put this podcast on there, and you still just
absolutely could, and you'd have the freedom then to say whatever the fuck you want. YouTube,
which is why they're switching over to OnlyFans TV,
right? Which is cool, very cool. How long until that's a widget app on new televisions that you buy in the store? Like, you know, they'll
have to rebrand it.
Yeah, they probably would. But
what was that, like Spike TV had to do that? Because what was it originally? It was like a man. It was like a man TV. It was Spike TV, and then it went to like Paramount or something.
Yeah. Wow.
It swithed over. Do you remember that? Because
I do.
Remember the UFC got picked up on it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was on
and
Spike.
They used to do that, and then they switched over, and there was a lot of stupid stuff.
The Testosterone Network.
Yeah. We're at 2 hours, dude.
Are we?
Yeah.
Holy crap. That happened fast.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, you know, I think that a lot of people can gain so much great information from the internet and OnlyFans or whatever Instagram avenue you can gain your inspiration from. It can take you from 148 pounds up to 180. It can make you feel great. It can teach you that really it's not that hard if you want to change something about yourself. But it can also turn you into mindless fucking dumbasses.
Yeah.
And I think people really need to wake up and find the difference between like the beauty that the internet has to offer and also the complete dark side shit show that can just swallow you
It's
whole.
crazy of what, like if you look at like, because we're from a generation that grew up with it coming up, like my friends' kids now are growing up having it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they don't know what it's like.
You used to have to get free trials in the mail.
Dude, I used to rob the free trial discs off the counters at Blockbuster. Blockbuster would have a stack of free trial discs. You get your...
Used to sign in. Remember you get signed off if somebody called your parents' house?
Yeah, I do remember that. I just remember the phone fucking being connected to the wall. How many people don't know what that's like now, you know? And... yeah, we sound like fuddy-duddies up here, but it's the truth, man. Like, things have progressed so fast.
Yeah.
So fast,
it's
to the
so
point
fast.
where now these kids, spelling isn't an issue for them. They don't need to know how to write. They can't write cursive. They don't know how to print their own name.
You know what's weird is like going to try and write something out and having to remember to spell because I'm so much on the phone and doing everything so digital.
It's doing it for you.
It's doing it for you. And then the other day I was like, how do you spell that? And then I was like, yo, you know how to spell
That's one thing I'm glad I retained.
Dude, it was crazy. We'll start wrapping up, but like we were having a conversation and we were talking about a girl in a movie and everyone was so used to doing it that we cheered when I figured it out. So the girl was Alicia Silverstone. Ooh. And we were talking about Clueless. And then, Zach was talking about Clueless. And then we were like, yo, who was that chick in there? And I was going back and forth with Jimmy. And then I was like, Alicia Silverstone. And we're all like, yo.
That's
and
the
Jimmy's
one.
like, yo. He's like, that's big. You got it. Because it's so easy to just go over and go, beedly. Like I looked up that Fuji's thing.
Yep.
While you were talking, I was just like, Fuji's.
Yeah. And you came up with pretty accurate information on the fly.
It's all headline shit.
And what? When's the last time you went to a trivia night, Mike? Remember those?
A couple months ago.
Remember in the beginning it was like no cell phones,
and
blah blah, and like now it's like, okay, now it's the point where you don't even have to have the cell phone. You can just have a Bluetooth piece on, and somebody could be hearing this that's sitting out in their car and like.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's wild
the answer
the way.
Is Heavyweights from 1995.
What a great movie. Gerald Garner, get on the scale. Get off the scale.
God. I'm feeling skinny, Tony.
That's such a fucking awesome movie.
Dude, that was probably one of Ben Stiller's best roles ever. I
much like if you follow his career from like his shit before that, like that character was in so much development because he ran a comedy show where like Janine Garofalo was on it.
Oh wow, I haven't heard that name in a while.
A bunch of other people, and it was some of the funniest shit if you saw it because it was just such a random thing and you couldn't really tell people about it because it wasn't like I could send you to a link.
Yeah.
So then like. If you look back, like it was like he was doing that character as like an infomercial guy.
Yeah.
And then like he took it from Heavyweights and then he brought it into Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
That was the evolution of the character for sure. Team Perkins.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh man. And as a kid, like
Heavyweights was such because that was a Disney movie.
It was a Disney movie, but it had cursing in it. It had a lot of content in it that was questionable.
There's so much good shit in there. And it's a long movie.
But those movies can't be done now.
No,
those movies cannot be made. They definitely can't be marketed to children.
Well, what I also like is with Burt Kreischer's movie coming out. Like a couple of people laughed at me for saying it, but I feel like he's going to bring comedy back. There hasn't been good comedy in a while since people got canceled.
Yeah.
And it's like Adam Sandler kind of stopped pushing the boundaries of stuff a long time ago, and his stuff is what it is, but like, and he doesn't have to do anything other than he is, because I feel like he just takes group vacations with his friends.
He's just a billionaire now.
And then just makes a half-ass movie that like everybody will like.
Everybody will eat it up. Doesn't matter.
So like, with Kreischer coming out, and then like they have another movie called Fat Astronauts that him and Tom Segura are doing it, and they're having the guys from Tropic Thunder. And when the guys from Tropic Thunder were like, yo, go harder.
Yeah.
And then they were like, so like they have people that are now wanting to push the boundaries again. And I feel like Bert's kind of at a point where he's like Kevin Hart big, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So like he's kind of like above all that, like I said before, where he's not really cancelable.
Too big to fail.
Yeah, and he's also like not really a cancelable person. It's Bert. Like, you know,
he's lovable.
Yeah.
He's a fat drunk who
like
embraces it and comes out on stage with his shirt off.
I feel like his movie's gonna bring back like the National Lampoon style. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there hasn't been anything like that in so fucking long.
I want to see like Road Trip, American Pie, Up in Smoke, kind
all
of
the
movies
shit we
again.
grew up with.
I want to see cult classic
It went away.
comedies.
And that's what I think is frustrating, because the generation of kids that are coming up, they don't realize like what they're not getting, because everything they're holding is canceling or like controlling what actually comes to them.
Yeah.
So they don't even know what they're missing out on.
They're not watching movies like Out Cold.
No,
you know?
no, that was with Zach Galifianakis.
Yes, exactly,
They put
dude.
him in the car and they spun it.
Yeah.
And he's all blacked out.
He's, oh my god! Yeah, trying to get down the mountain with all the beer still in
but
the
see,
mug.
like that was always like Blockbuster shit. Like you would go to Blockbuster and you didn't know what you wanted, so you'd walk around. There's something going on with Blockbuster where they reactivated and took over Blockbuster.com, and if
Really?
you go to it, it says coming soon.
No shit.
Yeah, I would think it'd be genius if they reopened stores.
But what the hell are they gonna have in the store?
I don't know. Yeah, because it is all streaming, so no one's gonna go.
And everybody's lazy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to leave. Dude, people can't even go get food for themselves. DoorDash.
I guess what they would probably do is start a channel like I just recently signed up for Apple TV. It's free for 3 months. I wanted to watch this series called Blackbird.
Dude, Blackbird was great.
That's crazy.
I read the book.
The book's probably way better.
The book was good, but I wanted to actually. The TV trailer is what made me read the book.
Yeah.
And I think that they had some sort of plan with that because the book happened to be free on Audible at the time. It
Yeah.
is no longer free now that the show has been released. I think
Yeah.
they did that to kind of garner and generate interest. But it was good.
Yeah.
And the show.
True story.
Yeah, true story.
That's fucking
Fucked
wild.
up.
How much of a home run did that guy play? The serial killer
Dude,
guy? That guy
that
always
guy
plays a
is
great
good in everything.
He always plays like the psycho or like weird
He was in that movie with
mass shooter.
He was in that movie with Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan.
He always plays like the semi-disconnected guy.
Dude, he's really good at it. And he was in Cobra Kai, like the weirdo 20-something who's hanging out with teenagers and stuff, but somehow ends up being lovable anyway and like a hero of it.
Blackbird was wild, man.
Yeah.
When DeStefano was talking about that on a podcast, and that's why I picked up on it.
DeStefano's funny, man. I actually share a love for the band, the 1975, and he like broke down. He like broke down and confessed his love for that band, and that band actually doesn't think he's very funny at all. And
Doesn't he like he like invited them out to a show and they didn't go.
They didn't go. They're like, yeah, he's shit. He's not really on time.
He's refreshing. He's so different than everyone else right now. And then with the sunglasses,
he's unapologetically him.
And
he
was good on Rogan telling the stories about his dad.
Yeah, he's funny as hell. And I might be gay. And whatever else. And it's like, okay, great, whatever,
he's like,
man.
Well, he's like, my wife sometimes gives me shit because, like, all right, well, here's an example. Like, I basically thought I was gay for a month.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you talking about? But I have friends who are as crazy as he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all got a friend somewhere that's as crazy as he is, but he's hitting it, and it's his time right now, and he's looking.
I love watching those guys get theirs. I love watching them get theirs.
I like when people hit their climax,
because like he is funny.
His
His clips are funny. Same with Theo Vaughn. Like watching him come up.
Theo Vaughn is my favorite. He's coming to Bethlehem in July. The tickets sold out like that.
I caught him. Somebody bought a bunch of tickets, and we got front row, and we saw him. It was like right before he started like. Because I think Rolling Stone put out an article about how he's just his clips are everywhere. Yeah. It's almost like Andrew Tate esque, where like he's
but in
everywhere.
A good way.
Yeah,
in a good way. Because
I'm just saying like how that guy like was everywhere. Yeah. Like there's always a Theo Vaughn clip.
I know because he says so much ridiculous shit. And
that Gary V fucking thing, I saw that the other day, dude. That shit was fucking.
Who was that Jerry V guys telling? Oh, dude, you still got silverware in your house.
Live in the fucking yard. It was a perfect example of how everyone looks at that guy.
Yeah, it's true. People look at him like he's some sort of like messiah genius. He's just telling you to sell all your worldly possessions.
And then he'd say shit like, if you're watching me, you shouldn't even be watching me because you should be at a yard sale.
Yeah. You should be hustling, bro.
I followed him for a while. Like I definitely liked his aspect of like his business and shit.
Yeah,
but then
part of that hustle.
But then after you like follow somebody like that, like you just start seeing like the pattern of like what the set.
It's a formula.
It's
a formula.
Like a gypsy salesman.
That's right. He's just traveling door to door.
He grew up on a winery,
peddling his wares. Yeah, he's probably hiding grapes in his ass,
freezing grapes,
freezing grapes, hiding them in his ass. You know. But Theo Vaughn, man, he's been around for so long. He was on fucking what, Road Rules?
Yeah.
And people might have looked at him as some wild, goofy character back then, but for him,
it was funny because they show some of the clips from like the Real World Road Rules Challenge, and when like they're interviewing him, like it's what he's doing now.
Yeah, he's never changed.
No,
he's always been this same goofy
weird
ass
shit.
dude.
Yeah,
and he says things that make absolutely no sense, and people are like, wait, because he just passes it right into conversation.
There was something he said on Rogan that I was dying. I like when he like makes Rogan like belly laugh.
Yeah,
and he said something about.
I put it on my stories all the time.
Like Monster Energy drink, and he just tied it into domestic violence.
You got a guy named Kyle drinking Monster Energies at home, just waiting to like punch a hole in his wife. You know, like
it was just so funny. Yeah, his stand-up was solid. I'm sure it's way better now.
His stand-up's great. His podcast is great. He has a strange diversity of guests that come on.
That's starting to pick up, and he's starting to get a lot of people that are like, I feel like when he left King and the Sting, it was the correct move to go. Yeah. And then when you start,
I don't listen to them anymore at all. Really. That Fire and the Kid,
that whole thing,
the whole Brennan Schaub thing
like
became like an empire of podcasts, and it was like, how many podcasts can I listen to with Brennan Schaub today?
Shows dedicated to how much he sucks.
Yeah, I don't think he sucks. He's just kind of like, he clearly got into his ego a bit. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying somebody like that probably didn't have. But he always,
I mean, look at how he dresses. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Dad, he's into him, jewelry and all the fancy clothes. He's a professional athlete, fighter, all these things. He's probably always had some ego of him because he's fucking a monster.
I liked King and the Sting in the beginning, but then it kind of like changed, and right when they started changing the set, I was like, I don't know. And then when they started bringing on that other guy, and then they started bringing on D'Elia, and then I was just like, I was out before that, but then
it's just a network of haha. You know what I mean? It's all the same shit, and the jokes get recycled, and then it's kind of
like there's no way D'Elia and that other Eric Griffin aren't getting paid to be on that show.
Right. But that gets to be like a circle jerk.
Yes.
The jokes get recycled, and they're inside jokes all over the place.
And then they're just making fun of each other, and then it's just all they're doing it for is the clips,
Ganging
and then the clips are going up.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I had to shut off.
Well, that's why I had to stop listening to so many casts, because I was like, damn, people are cashing in on the formula, and they're just making 10 shows now instead of 1, and it's all the same crap. Yeah. And I was like, man, I'm just eating this
Bad Friends was another one I stopped watching.
Yeah. But
I like Bobby Lee's funny.
I'll
watch him on like
Tiger Blood, right?
Yeah, I'll watch them if they cross over onto like, I don't know.
But I'll tell you what podcast I always watch. Fucking this one.
God bless.
I always watch this one.
God bless.
Man. I always do. It's a killer.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. I've always believed in what you do, man. And I ride as a sponsor, not just because, I believe what you're doing is going to go somewhere, but because you're grinding. And this is something that helps you, and like this is how the network supports itself. If I can get my name out a little bit with you, even to one customer a month or a year, man, that money I paid you for a sponsor fee or whatever is washed. It's fine.
Yeah.
And just knowing that it's helping you. I've watched you for how many years now that I've been sponsoring, 3 or 4 years, keeping you getting towards the goal that I know you're going to get to with this bagel shop and everything else, man. Like,
it's
this
weird
is
to
rolling
think
you
coming.
right along, man. This is going to, not saying like, oh, our sponsor money is going to get Mike out of the basement, but really it's helping.
100%.
That's so dope. That's
well, when I quit the post office, I had to. I think you were already on as a sponsor, and LaBarba were the first.
I think I was one of the first, if not the first.
I think you were the first, and then LaBarba, and then with All Valley Rooter, and then I think Luke came on, and like there's just people that
you got Mind Leaf Heavy now.
There's people that have come on that like when I go into the next version of this, and like I said it to Sal, like there's people that like I needed the sponsors to get to the next point. Like you said, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's to a point now where it's like, it can't really grow anymore. So it's just kind of stagnant.
I disagree with that.
No. I meant here and what I'm doing here.
Well, yeah, in this locale.
Because like what I'm about to do and what I do now does not mix together. So like I have to work on things like selling my time and like not working with everybody and like picking and choosing my podcast instead of taking everything that comes down the pipe. And like, there's a lot of things that I learned doing this business that like, is wrong.
Yeah.
So like I have a chance to make all of that right and level up like how you did going into the new shop. So like when I go into that new shop, it's like I'll never forget all the people that did not stop being a sponsor. I had people that come on and after a month they're like, I don't get any of this and I didn't get anything out of it. And I'm like, well, it's long. Like now would I know how to actually sell somebody's business? Like, first of all, everyone that's kind of touched this show has made money.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like anything I did didn't work.
I've had people come and say, hey, I heard about you on Never Again. Dope.
So it's like
that's the network doing its job.
So like when I saw that it was working, I was like, all right, you know, like we can build off of this. But like now that I know, I've been doing this shit for 7 years for people who just found out about this through stuff. I
That's
mean,
just the podcast bit.
Yeah.
You were doing the clothing and all that
the
for
whole
15.
the whole thing for 15. So like what I know now, it's interesting to like now have the ability to like be running a separate business that's like a business and it doesn't need to be sold because it's a need, not a want. So it's like it's food, it's coffee, it's like it's something that this town needs.
This town needs that.
So like when I'm over here on the other side now, it's like I have a chance to right all the wrong and be like, hey, you learned so much, and like now you know now I can like legitimately really help people because the show's grown so much. But then in the same aspect, it's like, well, what's gonna happen now? Like I tell people all the time, like I've done everything wrong non-stop with this business, but I did it for so long that you eventually get to years where, and I'm sure it was similar with you, where it's just you stop making the mistakes because you did them wrong so many times. So then you have an opportunity to go through a year and make money because you don't do the dumb shit you did the year before. And if no one's in front of you being like, don't do that, don't do this, and you're actually the boss, it's really fucking hard to do. But if you keep pushing it, I mean, sometimes I get frustrated because people give me excuses on why they can't do shit. And I'm like, don't tell me. This whole thing was started. I was dating a heroin addict. I was living above a bar. I just got fucking sober. And I started a clothing company that turned into a podcast, that turned into food, that turned into me opening a fucking restaurant. It's gone viral in several different times. It was on fucking Netflix.
And culminated to Lehigh Valley.
So like when someone tells me they can't figure something out, I'm like, you're talking to the wrong fucking person.
Talking to my guy all
because
wrong.
It's like a lot of people will give up on what they're doing, and it's like I'm like, we were talking about apparel before this started. So like I'm excited to have 15 years of apparel knowledge and now can look at something and be like, all right, before we do that, why don't we get a catalog ready? Why don't we do a pre-order? Because I know pre-order is going to work. Why don't we take this idea and we tie it with that? And then let's go over here and let's start the burger club. And like now it's like I don't have to stay in these like, when you're early on in something, you almost like stay in these fucking guidelines and you're like, oh, I need to be here. I need to be here. I need to be here. And that's what I'll do with the bagel shop because that's what you need to do in a business like that. But what I've learned is like, if you're in a creative business, you shouldn't be locked into like all these different patterns and ideas because if you want to be happy while doing it, you have to change with your creativity. Like my t-shirts are now like branded and look way different than they were in the beginning. In the beginning, they were dope. They were fucking skateboard graphics. I was into skateboarding at the time. My brother was a part of the business, and I was using tattoo artists to draw everything. And it's like after a while, that wasn't who I was. And this whole business is who you are. So if it doesn't change with me, what the fuck is the point of the tag?
What was that tagline? It's who you are.
So it's like if I'm not being true to that, and I'm not taking everybody along the journey, but I feel like that's why everybody If I was still doing apparel, nobody would give a shit about what I was doing. If I was still just trying to sell t-shirts.
Well, at least if you were still selling the same damn t-shirts, because let's face it, style has moved on. People don't wear the big graphics as much.
And it's like, I can make that available through drop shipping because I know how to do that now, but it's like...
So you don't have to sit on 40 of them.
But it's like when I sold my last big graphic tee, and it didn't move, and then I sold a North Face ripoff, allegedly. Then when I saw that sell, I was like, oh, my audience is older primarily. I mean, I don't really know what my demographic is. I mean, it falls in between like 20 and 40, but it's mostly guys. But like all that is like, even if I found the pulse of like what to sell, after a while I'd be like, this is a business and I don't like it, and this is boring and this isn't creative. So for me, it's like, I'd rather just come over here and do this. And then it's like when someone's like, oh, well, that doesn't work for me. Well, it's like, well, then fucking try something else. What's it matter? Umbrella it. Put like, when I started doing this, I left it at Never Again. It was originally supposed to be Never Again Clothing that I trademarked, and then I was like, no, I'll leave it at Never Again because I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then because I did that, Never Again Radio, Never Again Studio. Now, because if you look at my hashtags when I go do shit and put all those stories up, it's Never Again. It's Studio Travel. Now it's not even Never Again anymore. It's Studio Kitchen, Studio Travel, and then I'm like, oh, well, we can put all that underneath Never Again Studio, which is essentially what this turned into from Never Again Clothing, but the apparel can stay underneath that, and then it completely still umbrellas under it. And then if you do that, you have complete freedom to do whatever the fuck you want.
You didn't box yourself in.
No, and when you box yourself in, it's when you become unhappy. It's if you have something that's seasonal, and it does, like if your business was only, you could only do it outside, you wouldn't be happy at all, because when winter would come, you'd have to shut your business down.
I hated it. I hated it so much. Being dependent on the weather, working outside.
It's awful. I quit jobs. Like when I did tree work, I was like trying to make ends meet for an apartment. And I was just like, oh, fucking, it's raining again and we're not working this week. If I was still doing tree work and was getting paid the way I was, I would have worked 3 days in these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
As an adult trying to pay bills.
Yeah, not going to work out. It's just not going to work. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I'm wrapping it up. I appreciate your kind words. I tried to take that compliment in. I think it did, but I appreciate it.
It hit.
You've been here from the beginning, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you as a sponsor. I want to give you time to, because there's a lot to get caught up on, and there's a lot for what you're kind of pushing. So I want you to kind of, you did this last time, and you cut a very good promo. So I want to give you a chance to kind of let everybody know what you're doing, because I like that we stopped talking about cars and then just got into fucking the Fujis and the conspiracy
Well, how many
theories.
times can I talk about what I do?
But that's
cars,
why I like
know?
having people back on, because it's hard to have this conversation with someone. It happens sometimes, but like it's hard to have this conversation with people that I don't know, because it's hard to just rip with somebody.
Yeah, you and I can just rap.
Yeah,
it just goes.
So thank you for coming on. Like I said, this is kind of the countdown to the last podcast. There's probably 14 more. My mom's going to be the last one I do here.
Hey, that's wild.
Yeah. It'll be, I thought about it the other day. I'm like, how weird is that going to be? But I think it'll be fun.
Nance?
Yeah, Nancy.
Yeah.
Front row Nancy.
Wow.
So thank you again, man. I appreciate everything you do. We will do this again in the new studio. It'll probably be lounge format. Maybe we'll get Nate and Jesse back in.
Yeah, let's get some couches, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that.
These chairs are cool and everything, but I want to sit back.
No, because our couches were original. That's what we did originally. It was just audio, and we'd sit on the couches.
Yeah, and I think it'll be nice. We'll get some lapel mics. Everything will be straight. But for me, I'm Mark. I run a detail shop. It's called Rips Auto Detail. I'm in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I offer high-line detailing. I don't do cheap stuff. I don't do dirty minivans with French fries in them. 1 or 2 French fries under your seats probably all right. I can make an exception. But if you're looking for the best in the area in paint correction, polishing, ceramic coatings, paint protection films. You hate rock chips? I got paint protection film. We can cover your car in a big old clear sticker you won't even see. We can keep those scuffs, abrasions, rock chips, all that stuff down. You need your windows tinted? We can get that done for you too. Basically anything as it comes to you, highline aesthetics for your ride, we can get it accomplished in my place of business. So that's Rips Auto Detail. You can find that on Instagram. RIPS Auto Detail. You can find it at ripsautodetail.com. You can call me 484-553-1366. Try to respect my privacy as far as late night hours. Sometimes these people want to call and talk about cars at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not a fan of that, but leave a voicemail. I'll get back to you the next day. I can't thank the Valley enough for the support. I've been doing this for 19 years. Next year will be 20 years doing this gig for money, cleaning cars, and it's taken me on a lot of crazy rides. And I met a lot of cool friends and a lot of cool people, including my friend Mike here along the way, and I just appreciate that everybody lets me do what I do. I just like shiny cars, man. It's what I like, and I'll be happy to work for you. So if you're interested in that, you can find me at all those avenues I just listed, and I'd be really happy to talk with you, happy to meet you. And Mike, thanks for having me as always. This is always a blast. I really dig just coming down here and chopping it up with you, man. And I'm proud of your progress. I really am.
Appreciate it, man.
You're going to make it, dude. You've been doing this a long time, and people like us who people like us who grind, bro, we're going to make it somewhere. We're gonna, because we get up every day and we do the thing, whether somebody's applauding us or not, we're going to do it. And because we have a fire lit inside. I got it for shiny cars. This man's got it for clothing and casts. You got to give it up for people like us, because we get in and day out, and we're here to serve you. You know what I mean? So thanks to everybody who drives a rad car and brings it to me to make it radder. Mike?
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. If you're a first-time listener, first-time watcher, first-time anything, neveragainstudio.com. The website has all the video, has the audio. If you're a normal person that does not watch podcasts and things like that off of a website, Spotify is my go-to for everything. YouTube is for all the videos. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that. Weekly they come out. If you want apparel, go to my Instagram and click the link in my bio. Dynamite Screen Printing sponsors the show, and they run my drop shipping. There's a bunch of different shirts on there, and I'm going to be updating that with some new things coming down the pipe. Thank you again. We've now almost done 2.5 hours, and it is 10 o'clock.
It's got to be a record.
I haven't done long ones in a while just because I keep them. Like I said, like when you got somebody coming in here in the afternoon, it's too easy not to. They have somewhere to be. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I was paying attention to time because we both have to get up tomorrow.
I cleared my schedule for you, buddy.
Appreciate it, doggy. Yeah, we will never stop talking if we don't turn this off. Thank you so much.
Thanks, boss.
I haven't done a lot. That was so much fun to do an old fucking podcast. I believe it.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.